Chapter 57:10. Jian Wushuang was taken aback by this scene. Jiang Shang even leaked an unbelievable expression. Boom! A golden beam of light burst from the fingertips in an instant, and the humming sound resounded throughout the Colosseum. Hui Qing, what are you doing? Jian Wushuang wanted to stop, but found that there was an extra secret text on the center of Hui Qing's eyebrows. On Dylan's head too. That means being enslaved by Bobby D. Jian Wushuang understood at this time. No wonder Hui Qing would attack Jiang Shang. But even if Jiang Shang was killed here, there would be no consequences. Anyway, it was just an illusion. It's just a thought that is dead. Jiang Shang's deity was well in the Temple of Destruction. Brother Wushuang, did I do the wrong thing? Gui Lu pointedly killed Jiang Shang and walked towards Jian Wushuang slowly, her eyes sharpening. Jian Wushuang's eyebrows were tightly furrowed, and he never expected that such a simple Hui Qing would be controlled by Emperor Bobby. Bobby D enslaves the strong, generally inducing fear and death in the heart of the opponent. How Hui Qing was controlled. Bobby D, who returned to the core compartment, clenched his fists and stared at everything excitedly. Only he knew that Hui Qing was actively controlled. Of course, it was also because Hui Qing really had fear in her heart. Like Jian Wushuang, he also feared this day. Sandwiched between Jiang Shang and Jian Wushuang, there is no choice. Now he was in the illusion, killing Jiang Shang and letting go of everything. Then fight Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang didn't understand. Jiang Shang is your disciple, and I am her enemy. She wants me to take revenge, you shouldn't interfere. Jian Wushuang shook his head. Even if that day is true, life and death must be separated. It was also he who fought Jiang Shang in a decisive battle. After Hui Qing heard it, she shook her head and said, "She is my disciple, and you are my benefactor. Kill her and repay you, kill you for revenge." As soon as the voice fell, Hui Qing broke out directly, and his combat power could shake the world. This battle cannot be avoided. Jian Wushuang also broke out. At this moment he can't control so much. Now that Hui Qing has made up his mind, there is nothing he can't let go of. Go to the special temple to save the gods. At this moment Jian Wushuang broke out completely. Eternal change. Jian Wushuang squatted slightly, his arms crossed, his breath surged, and the blue arc flickered. With his arms outstretched to the sky, he roared, and he was completely at his peak state. All in blue. The blue arc in his eyes flashed across in an instant, and he saw Hui Qing attacking him. Eyes shrink far and near small. When he flashed away, he had already taken the initiative to step forward. Since the decisive battle in the illusion, then don't play any means, he will have a good fight. Boom! The two collided fiercely, palm to fist, fist to palm, and exploded at the same time. Boom! Hui Qing withdrew. Behind one hand a big Buddha emerged. It's not someone else, it's just who you are. Now Hui Qing doesn't need other people's dharma features, her own is enough. 10,000 Buddhas worship. Hui Qing slapped it with a palm, but a silver long stick appeared in the other hand. Jian Wushuang recognized the pattern on the top. This thing, he also heard Zheng Ling told Hui Qing, is an incredible treasure of the universe. Powerful. In the long stick, there is a universe. In the palm of your hand. Jian Wushuang rose into the sky, and with only his breath, he slapped 10,000 Buddhas and worshipped. The figure was suspended in the air, and he said calmly, "Next, it's really moving. Don't keep your hands." Hui Qing's eyebrows flickered, and the black pattern sank deeper. Jian Wushuang also understood that Hui Qing was going to truly fall into a violent state. I don't know whether Bobby D can control Hui Qing now. He didn't think too much. No matter what, today is going to tell the difference between life and death. Anyway, it is the illusion, which will not be resolved today. It's better than solving it in the real world that day. Song. Jueyan sword intent, condensed an illusory Jueyan sword. The silver long stick in Hui Qing's hand was also disillusioned, so that it would be fair and just. Neither of them is the real deity, both are avatars of avatars. At this moment, Jian Wushuang was also very curious about how powerful Hui Qing really was. Can he reach the level in his mind? In the Temple of Qishan, he believes that the Emperor is invincible. The only opponent is Hui Qing. He has been unable to figure out Hui Qing's strength. At the beginning, Hui Qing broke out with the power of the ninth-ranked Dian Immortal in one step, and even mastered the ultimate way. Later, everything he saw in Mahayana Lingshan, he felt that Hui Qing had also been to the stars. Even the original Nie Yuan had been to the starry sky, and Hui Qing had been there too. Both of them have great secrets, and both have their own cards. This battle will be extremely exciting. It is also a chance to fight for the Lord of the original universe and the Temple of Qishan. Bobby D in the core warehouse was excited to see this scene, because the death and life revealed by the two at the same time is simply too much. Especially the life force on Jian Wushuang. Bobby D excitedly took out a disc with a pointer on it. There are 9 numbers at the top. It is 1 to 9. The number at the top had only reached 7, but now it has reached 8. Several eras have passed since he got that thing. It's almost done now. He planned ahead, but he didn't expect that the plan could not keep up with the changes, but made his plan smoother and faster. At the end of this battle, he will shock the entire celestial woman's time and space, and even the long river of time and space. As long as it is in the diaspora realm, he will become his believer in the future. Thinking of this, Bobby D thought of extinction. Master Miesheng, times have changed, and you are getting old too. He is aware of the pursuit of extinction. Things between life and death are the most funny. Even if Jian Wushuang is the emperor who masters the creation of life, can extinction really succeed? At least the extinction was unsuccessful now. And he could also see that Miesheng knew the existence of Jian Wushuang. I knew it, but I didn't succeed. That's even more ridiculous. Not as ambitious as his pursuit. I don't know what kind of plan Miesheng will have after he knows what he thinks. However, the pursuit of the two is indeed very different. The goal of Bobby D is all the dispersion realm. But extinction is the pursuit of the strongest way. Unbeatable road. The pattern is not generally large. As for Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing, is still on the rise, and the road is still going. Unlike Daixing and Bobby D, there is no other way out. On the ring, Jian Wushuang drew his sword, Hui Qing held a stick. The Jueyan sword turned into thousands, and the sky was full of sword aura. Wherever it goes, the space is shattered. The stick in Hui Qing's hand is even more domineering, Hunyuan Tiancheng without any flaws. The fight between the two is also inextricable, denting the ground and cracking the space in the sky. The conversion of the battle has entered a fever pitch. Neither side suffered any injuries, but the aura consumption was enormous. Even Jian Wushuang couldn't add anything. Chapter 57:11. Hui Qing was no better than him to go there. Her breath was unstable. Haha, be happy. Jian Wushuang took a sigh of relief. His life force widened, and the power of the starry sky was raised again. It's just that the power of the starry sky has been consumed too much now, and it is not enough for him to supplement with the power of life. The treatment chamber in the cabin is magical, allowing his life force to accelerate the replenishment of the starry sky. Hui Qing was silent, and at the same time sighed Jian Wushuang's power from the bottom of her heart. That stalwart figure at the beginning is just as powerful now. He has already exerted all his strength, fighting Jian Wushuang to this day, still unable to tell the outcome. Moreover, his aura is a bit weak, but Jian Wushuang is still as powerful as that. But Hui Qing didn't know that Jian Wushuang was already at the limit. The power of the stars is limited. No way, this is just a clone of Jian Wushuang. If it is the deity, he can fight forever. But now the power of the starry sky on the body is almost exhausted. The strength of both sides is approaching its limit. If it drags on, it will drop. At this moment, they are all gathering the strongest aura, ready to use the strongest means. Jian Wushuang's clone, as well as Hui Qing's illusion, both possess the power of the pinnacle of the three tribulations realm. This deity, I am afraid it will reach the terrifying combat power of the half-step 4 tribulations realm. Next, Jian Wushuang condensed a massive life force and threw it directly to Hui Qing. This is the last life force in his body. Too many can no longer condense, and the origin of the clone is limited. If it is the deity, as long as he needs a little breathing opportunity, he will be able to recover to the peak. When Hui Qing heard it, she was stunned for a moment, but accepted it anyway. Holding that group of life force, His breath climbed to the peak again. It's just an increase in vitality, but the origin cannot be improved. Call. Huiqing took a breath and exclaimed, "The force of life is really a good thing. Next, I'm ready to pick up my strongest sword." Jian Wushuang held the Juyin sword in both hands, condensing all the power of the starry sky on the blade. The starry sky catalog appears instantly. Huiqing's expression moved. With the silver long stick in her hand upside down, King Kong glared. The breath on his body also skyrocketed. At the same time, a huge roulette appeared under his feet. Dojo. When Jian Wushuang saw it, his heart was shocked. An emperor can bring his own dojo. Huiqing's whole cards were even more terrifying than he thought. At this moment, Huiqing's aura directly climbed to the half-step 4 tribulations realm level. Me too. Jian Wushuang shouted angrily. The space changed, and the universe that had not been seen for a long time began to expand. It's just that the current Yin universe is not as powerful as the deity displayed. However, the power of increase is still there. In fact, he didn't plan to use Yin universe. But when he saw Huiqing display his whole cards, he was a little panicked. Facing Huiqing, he has always had confidence. Until this moment, there was some pressure. This kind of pressure is not a sense of oppression. Unlike Broly, the stronger the war, the more oppressive it gives. Bobby D stared at Jian Wushuang and Huiqing in the core compartment, and had forgotten the disc in his hand. The moving dojo. Both emperors have. Although it does not seem to be a complete dojo, the increase is only 30%. But after they reach the tribulation realm, I am afraid they will be able to create a complete mobile dojo. This means that after the two of them become tribulation realm, their combat power will be one level stronger than that of the same rank. Being strong at one level is actually nothing. In the tribulation realm, although there are few who can fight beyond the ranks, who are Jian Wushuang and Huiqing, that is the super arrogant cultivated by Qishan Temple. Moreover, Tianjiao, who was recognized by the starry sky, was ranked in the top even in Gyua time and space. After they became the tribulation realm, even if there was no moving dojo, they were able to cross the ranks of World War II. If you add a moving dojo, the combat power will be different. Once Jian Wushuang became the tribulation realm, he would directly become the Lord of the Universe. That is, the 3 tribulation realm. This is something unprecedented. Even Jian Wushuang didn't know what the situation would be. Coupled with the mobile dojo, Jian Wushuang is equivalent to saying that after becoming the tribulation realm, he will have the power of the Lord of the 4 tribulation realm universe. Coupled with the strong origin, the half-step 5 tribulations realm is not a problem. Maybe it can be comparable to the dispersal of the 5 tribulations realm. This promotion is no less than the promotion of his Daojun after breaking through to the Emperor. Even a little more. At the 6th level of the Emperor, the distinction in the middle is not as obvious as the robbery realm. Ding! The disc in Bobby's hand suddenly gave out a black mist and made a strange noise. Successful. Bobby Emperor didn't go to see Jian Wushuang and Huiqing's battle anymore. Dylan was also very excited when he saw the disc move. He has followed Bobby D for the longest time, and is also the first warrior under Bobby D. Peak combat power, comparable to the half-step 6 tribulations realm powerhouse. Master Bobby, are you going to turn it on? Dylan took the initiative to light up the lamp in the gap. The light appeared, and a huge egg was placed in front of the two. The eggshell has lines and the color is black. If Jian Wushuang saw this egg, it would definitely be extremely shocked. He has seen this kind of egg several times. The first time was in the murals of the 3 Kings' Court, and the second time was in the origin of everything. The third time was when Frosa and Fuego left. Giant clan. Bobby Emperor shook his arm, very excited. Because the egg broke its shell immediately. The egg of death he picked up at the beginning is now hatched by him. The existence in this egg will be the Lord of Death. Even worse than his master. It is very heavy to enlighten by death. Bobby D and Dylan look forward to it together. Jian Wushuang on the ring also felt an extremely asymmetrical breath coming from the ground. A bad thought arose. He understands roughly in his heart and has a connection with himself. The power of life is very special in the flying boat. Bobby D also valued this kind of power. He broke out unscrupulously. Perhaps some kind of unknown creature was brought out. This made him want to solve the battle more quickly. Take out your strongest means. Jianwu raised the long sword in both hands, and then said, "This sword I want keep my hand." Hui Qing's brows moved slightly, and she seemed to understand something. The silver long stick gathers energy, and a terrifying aura rises from the dojo under his feet, blessing him. Jian Wushuang's Yin Master of the Universe, the scope has been reduced a lot. After all, it is not his deity's display that dare to hope, display the strongest master of the starry universe. He can't even use the life universe. He can only use the most ordinary lord of the universe devouring. Probably withstood the power of a black hole. Chapter 57:12. But it can also increase his combat power by nearly 30%, which is already very good. Back then, he relied on this trick to fight against an unknown number of Tianjiao. Star Catalog. Jian Wushuang shot in an instant. Hui Qing also yelled angrily, and the long stick stirred the situation and rushed directly at Jian Wushuang, wanting to face him head-on. Guluan. Hui Qing's long stick flew out suddenly, and a set of self-made cosmic secrets suddenly broke out. The lines on the top are so complicated that they gradually formed a shield. And Jian Wushuang's Starry Sky Catalog is the strongest killer. One main defense, one main killing. Really met an enemy. But Jian Wushuang leaked a smile. In front of the Star Catalog, there is no defense at all. Space will degenerate and time will be suspended. This is the meaning of time and space. Unstoppable. Kill. Defend. The two collided fiercely, and the Juyian sword did not pierce the shield, but spread to the entire space. The space here begins to freeze, and time goes backwards. When Hui Qing saw it, the speed of her eyes slowed down. His shield is self-defeating. Brother Wushuang. Hui Qing felt her body start to freeze, and was about to sink into a portrait. When Jian Wushuang saw it, it was too late to stop. Hui Qing, this is just an illusion, you will be fine. I'm sorry about Jiang Shang. Jian Wushuang leaked an apology. The mark on Hui Qing's eyebrows began to disappear, which also represented the return of sanity. This matter, let's stop here. I will find a way to resurrect her brother in the future. Hui Qing's expression eased. Jian Wushuang shook his head and said, "One person does the job, the other person. You don't have to be caught in the middle to be embarrassed. By the way, how can you bring your thought power to this place?" Jian Wushuang looked at Hui Qing suspiciously. When they entered the Guyue time and space together, he saw Hui Qing blocking the heavenly girl, and he didn't know if it was an illusion or what. Originally I wanted to ask, but I have been fighting until now, and the two players can be regarded as a winner. After Hui Qing regained her senses, her eyes were a little dull. He glanced around and replied, "I was in a strange place in Guyue time and space, and I had an acquaintance to help me, so I entered here." Acquaintances? Jian Wushuang was surprised and asked, "Do you have any acquaintances in Guyue time and space?" But after another thought, Hui Qing had been to the stars. There might be something left, but it's nothing strange. Hui Qing nodded and didn't go into details. After all, this place is the place of Emperor Bobby, and there are some things that really can't be said. "Brother Wushuang, I don't have time." Hui Qing's body was completely condensed, leaving only a trace of thought power. This time I lost completely. Although he knew it was a phantom clone, Jian Wushuang still couldn't bear it. Life and death are close, but it is a killer. Jian Wushuang forced to apologize in his heart, and said calmly, "We will see you again soon." "No." Hui Qing shook his head struggling, and then said, "You have to be careful of Guyue Ejiao, and don't go to Guyue ruins. Never go. Never go. Never go." As soon as the voice fell, Hui Qing's body was completely plunged into a flat space and turned into a starry sky catalog. Jian Wushuang carefully recalled what he said just now, a little confused. Guyue time and space are 9 heavens and 10 earths. Gumu continent is one of the 10 places. The ruins of the ancient moon are also one of the 10 places. Only that piece of the mainland secret realm became a relic. Countless strong people take risks, also known as outland. Like this kind of ruins, there are 2 more among the 10 places. It also contains powerful special beings, as well as some sect aliens. It's a messy place. According to what he saw from the books, the ancient moon ruins were once the origin of the ancient moon in time and space. It is called the land of origin. Why did Huiqing stop him from going to the ancient moon ruins? Jian Wushuang was a little strange, but this is still far away from him, so he didn't think about it. The power of the starry sky was also completely exhausted at this moment. His clone, only divine power remained. 100,000 times the basic divine power. Even ordinary tribulation realm cannot beat. Fighting power is not as good as air. The surrounding space is shattered and the illusion is broken. Bobby D, who was in the core warehouse, breathed a sigh of relief after feeling it. After all, after being out of his control, he felt that something was wrong. And now the illusion was broken, and the stone in his heart also fell. Now just wait. The existence in the giant egg will appear. The mountain of roulette felt the pointer. And when Jian Wushuang and Huiqing fought, they directly reached consummation, and even the pointer broke. Obviously the power of death required is enough. Now wait for the eggshell to hatch. It was discovered that Jian Wushuang was still alive, and his strength had regressed very seriously, and there was no life force in his body. He is a great hero, Dylan. You go and bring him here. I want him to taste the despair. Bobby Emperor carried his hands on his back and stared at the giant egg. Dylan bowed to take the command, and his figure flashed to Jian Wushuang's side. Putting one hand on Jian Wushuang's shoulder, his figure flashed, and he brought Jian Wushuang to Bobby Emperor's side. Before Jian Wushuang could react, he saw the short and thin green-skinned alien in front of him. And the head is big, but the limbs are slender. You are Emperor Bobby. Jian Wushuang called his name without any fear. When Dylan heard this, he was furious. He squeezed Jian Wushuang's neck and shouted angrily, "What kind of thing are you, dare to be disrespectful to Lord Bobby?" Forget it, Dylan. Bobby Emperor is in a very good mood now, and he is not angry at Jian Wushuang's disrespect, but feels that Jian Wushuang is his lucky star. Especially seeing Jian Wushuang's death approaching, and being so calm. I felt that it was a talent. Emperor Bobby looked up at Jian Wushuang and replied, "What's the matter? Have you heard of the name of this seat?" "Slightly heard." Jian Wushuang touched the dented neck, and then said, "What is your relationship with extinction? You can even manipulate the power of death." "Master Miesheng, you really know Master Miesheng?" Emperor Bobby exclaimed. "Since you know him, it's not easy to be alive." Jian Wushuang leaked a smile and said in surprise, "Why, is he strong?" 1/2 step 7 Tribulations Realm. Even in the time of God, the 7 Tribulations Realm of extinction is not bad. After all, he didn't think how powerful Dongjun could be. This is still a guess. When Emperor Bobby heard Jian Wushuang's words, his eyelids trembled, and he felt that Jian Wushuang was talking big. He knows most about whether the life is strong or not. The extinction before leaving the starry sky is already the overlord of the starry sky, and no one can do anything against him against the 10,000 clan of the starry sky. The power of extinction cannot be understood by the fish in the long river of time and space. Emperor Bobby sneered and asked, "What do you know about the catastrophe?" "Tribulation." After asking this question, Jian Wushuang was really stunned. Chapter 57:13. In his understanding, the powerhouse of the robbery realm mastered the complete space, and then cultivated the origin of time. But when Guyu time and space arrived, he found that there was another way. It is not a single route. All roads lead to the starry sky, depending on which one suits you. However, in Jian Wushuang's heart, he has always believed that time and space are the most powerful. He didn't believe in the so-called one force breaking 10,000 laws. If there is such power, how can no one get it? If there are no ancients to reach that point, then the line of divine power is a big pie. Deceptive. Time and space are different. Time Kong Jibao can testify, as well as teacher Xian Yi. Jian Wushuang recalled, "When I met with teacher Xian Yi in the Three Kings Court, I once said that I would meet together in the future, able to travel through time and space. Naturally, there is no need to say more about the strength of teacher Xian Yi. The beginning is a powerful person who masters time and space. He hadn't seen the existence of Ely breaking 10,000s of laws, so he didn't believe it. Even the goddess back then was only in the 9 tribulations realm. Although opening up this long river of time and space is about to reach its peak, it has hurriedly fallen. Explained that this road is not easy to follow. Even the goddess failed at the beginning. These spiritual practitioners are afraid that they are not dreaming. If you want to break the 10,000 magic with one force, at least it is stronger than the goddess. But since the goddess fell, Guyu's time and space has been increasingly dilapidated. There is no such opportunity at all. There is also the power of death. Whether it is extinction or the current Bobby D, it is a shortcut. This road is also difficult to follow. Otherwise, extinction will not be trapped in this realm for so long. Thanks, Tusk young man. Emperor Bobby saw Jian Wushuang's thoughts, and then said, "You are an emperor with such strength, you should be proud. But there are some things you have to learn with humility." Jian Wushuang asked in amazement. "Why, to absorb the strength of others? Do you still have to learn this approach?" He almost laughed. As far as this ability is concerned, he is not bad at extinction. It's just that he doesn't have the strength to swallow the death. That day, after his strength surpassed extinction, he still learned a fart, swallowing extinction directly, and mastering reincarnation, plus the extreme time and space. What he has mastered is the time and space of reincarnation. Then there is a higher level of starry sky. Many lights suddenly appeared on the dim ancient road. Jian Wushuang was unusually firm. Just as he looked around firmly in his heart, he quietly found the dome hidden in the darkness. Dark eggshells and familiar textures. Giant! Jian Wushuang was taken aback. His clone did not carry the giant token that Frosa left him at the beginning, so he never felt the giant egg. Seeing at this time, my heart was shocked. He tremblingly pointed at Bobby D and said, "This is a giant egg?" Emperor Bobby was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that Jian Wushuang, an emperor, would actually know the Starry Sky Peak tribe. "You dare to plunder the giant egg. Are you afraid of the superpower of the giant clan coming?" Jian Wushuang asked. At the time Frosa was imprisoned by the 3 royal courts, it attracted Fuego, but after the destruction of Moro's time and space, the Titans could not find Frosa before giving up. Otherwise the Temple of Discord would never be spared. He really didn't expect that this Bobby Emperor would also have giant eggs. "Thanks, Tusk, it seems that you know a lot." Emperor Bobby stared at Jian Wushuang with interest, pointed to the giant egg, and said, "This is a dead egg." "Dead egg?" Jian Wushuang frowned. He couldn't believe it. The egg was dropped by the giants. How could it die? Frosa never said that there were dead eggs. The more he looked at this egg, the more difficult it became. Looking at Jian Wushuang, Emperor Bobby didn't believe it, and coldly snorted. "Even if it is a living giant egg, what can be done? The giant clan is not in the long river of time and space, and their mastery of the long river of time and space is far inferior to the human race." "But you are not a human race," Jian Wushuang reminded. "Although I am not a human race, this place is the chassis of the human race, the dojo of the goddess. Do the giant gods dare to come?" Bobby D said very hard. Jian Wushuang was also bluffed, because when he came here, he was indeed threatened. Later, it was because Huiqing blocked the goddess and didn't know what he said, he came to succeed. In this way, the will of the celestial lady probably has not disappeared, but has merged into the heavenly realm of Guyu time and space. He thought of Huiqing's reminder just now, telling him not to enter the ancient moon ruins. From when I first came in, I was eager for the opportunity of the robbery, to the willow in the back, and even today. Before he knew it, the black mist seemed to shroud him in a cage again. Jian Wushuang shook his head, not thinking about it anymore. He hasn't even gone out to the ancient wood continent now, and there is no need to go to the ancient moon ruins in the future. Just stay away. "Young man, just watch it," Bobby D proudly said. "What I do is shining by heaven. No one can stop it, but there will be countless people supporting me." After Dylan heard it, he did not forget to pat the horse and said, "The dawn of Lord Bobby will shine on the entire time and space." "Vision," Jian Wushuang sneered. Although he is a little confused now, what the Bobby Emperor is going to do, But looking at them, the elder looks like a villain. It won't last a few days. There is only one Dylan, let alone the Guma faction, who can't bear the anger of the eternal kingdom. Daoist Qingtian must have asked for help. I'm afraid it won't take long for reinforcements to come. He wanted to see if these people could be so hard-headed then. Coincidentally, he just thought of reinforcements. They are here. The great power of the Stone Country and the superpower of the Eternal Kingdom come at the same time. The terrifying aura of the Six Tribulations realm rose instantly. The entire flying boat was shaking. Dylan's complexion changed, and his breath began to soar. Don't worry, these people can't get in at all. Bobby D has absolute certainty. These people came, he was not surprised at all, because he had known in advance. Even if no one notified him, he could still think with his that Daoist Qingtian would ask for help. Click. The three of them looked at the giant egg at the same time. Cracks began to appear in the eggshell. Bobby D was pleasantly surprised. Haha, it's about to succeed soon. Jian Wushuang had no choice but to watch. He actually wanted to know what kind of monster would be born in the egg of. Dead egg. What can this give birth to? Just as the three were waiting for the eggshell to burst, the flying boat collapsed first. Boom! The superpowers from the outside world saw the flying boat collapse before they even took action. They were taken aback and looked at the spacecraft revealed from the void in surprise. Don't confess? There is fraud inside. They confirmed their ideas for the first time. A terrifying force of death quietly spread. Chapter 57:14. Those who came were all in the tribulation realm, not the Lord of the universe. The most feared is this kind of power. At this time, I was a little panicked without fighting. This terrifying power of death was much stronger than anyone they had encountered before. How is it possible? Isn't it the Five Tribulations realm? The mighty person of the Sure Kingdom stared at the broken flying boat in disbelief. In the crevice, a terrifying snake of death spread. The core compartment. Emperor Bobby was also a little panicked. His cosmic boat, but brought from the starry sky, suddenly shattered. This spacecraft is a treasure that can resist the superpowers of the Seven Tribulations realm. It broke suddenly. Because of that egg. Jian Wushuang reminded him at this moment. He holds the power of life, and can most appreciate the horror of that egg. It is now beginning to break. The atmosphere inside became more and more terrifying. Although there is no richness and purity in the body of Daisheng, the things in this egg are definitely stronger than Daisheng. Beyond the Six Tribulations realm, most likely it is the Seven Tribulations realm. How could he be so powerful? After the birth of the giant clan, isn't he the Lord of the universe? The strongest is no more than the Three Tribulations realm. Jian Wushuang now understands why Emperor Bobby has such a strong confidence. Feelings, this superpower that can give birth to the Seven Tribulations realm. After hearing Jian Wushuang's doubts, he was not sorry for this cosmic boat. Instead, he waved his arms in excitement and explained with enthusiasm. He is the giant egg that I have opened with my own hands. The ordinary giant egg, why? Maybe compare with him. The Seven Tribulations realm is not a goal. According to his speculation, the death giant of the Nine Tribulations realm will be born. That's it. Jian Wushuang understood. No wonder Bobby D had to treat them like a desperate situation, and then healed them. Keep giving them life, and keep giving birth to fear and death in their hearts. All the extracted power was injected into this egg. Today such a terrifying powerhouse came out. Before he was born, he had the aura of the Seven Tribulations realm vibrate at this time. The ancestor of the Eternal Kingdom was the first to discover. Emperor Bobby succeeded? He was the ancestor who opened up the eternal race. The pinnacle of the Seven Tribulations realm of strength, although not the master of the universe, has strong vitality. The ancestor of the eternal race leaked a fierce look and shouted angrily. Babbitt, dare you lie to me? He cooperated with Bobby D, but the other party promised that once the plan is completed, he will be notified as soon as possible. Notify all the awakened clansmen to go to the Eternal Palace. I want to preach. The ancestor of the Eternal Clan leaked a trace of bloodthirsty expression. The creation of the Eternal Family is for today. Gather the blood and return to the peak. Then look for a breakthrough. Every tribulation realm imagines that one day, it can reignite the road of cultivation. Weak ones may not be accessible, but the powerful 7 tribulations realm, and even the 8 tribulations realm, they all have their own plans. Even if it is a bit of rumors, some legends, they are not willing to give up. Emperor Bobby has mastered this, using the power of life to deceive a lot of powerhouses in the dispersing tribulation realm. Inform them of your plan. Once it succeeds, it can stop the diaspora realm from stagnating, and even break through. Although many people think it is impossible, they still believe it. This is the last hope, and no one wants to give up. Hope of breakthrough. The 7 tribulation realms of the ancient Wood School appeared at the same time, and due to their eyes, it was the eternal kingdom. The ancestor of the 8 tribulations realm of Shur Kingdom also opened his eyes. The flame who guarded the Stone Kingdom was also discovered. However, the flame gods are special beings, not Sanji or the Lord of the Universe, and there is still an endless road to go. He didn't know the plan of Emperor Bobby, but now that he felt the power of death, he understood that the sky of ancient Wood Continent was about to change. 9 core time and space. There are truly powerful people who have survived forever. None of those existences can create a way to improve the tribulation realm. Many people have no hope. But there are also some people who are lucky and feel that those powerful people are unwilling to watch the dispersal tribulation realm continue to practice. In this way, those who master time and space will continue to increase. There are only 3 publicly identified super exists in the 9 great space. If it is the realm of Sanjia, you can also reach the pinnacle. So more or less will make these beings feel uncomfortable in their hearts. Even if there is a way, it will not create this kind of method. Natural selection, in accordance with the way of heaven. There are no catastrophes for special beings and some strange races. An ethnic group like the human race should be bound. Otherwise it won't turn back. Some 7 tribulations realm powerhouses in ancient Wood Continent set off one after another towards the eternal kingdom. Emperor Soul Heaven, your place is really lively. Shur Gua Denung, who was the first to arrive, had already reached the rioting Star Sea. Jian Wushuang's clone was frightened and shattered without any hesitation. His deity returned to the country of you. That huge figure just now is definitely a powerhouse in the 7 tribulations realm. At the beginning, he had seen the body of the god, and could feel that breath. Above the riot sea, in addition to the super existence, there was also a blood-colored figure. He has white hair, but his face is as white as jade, and his facial features are abundant and handsome. It is the ancestor of the eternal race. Soul God. He came earlier, but came as a clone. The deity is in the eternal palace. Shi Xian. The Emperor Soul Tian looked at the huge figure frowning. Although this place is his chassis, those old monsters in the 7 tribulations realm are all simple. That's why he was anxious to swallow his blood, and let himself reach the peak, so that he could compete with the 8 tribulations realm for Emperor Bobby. The few powerhouses in the 6 tribulations realm below, seeing the ancestors descend, came to visit one after another. Observe the scene inside the spacecraft together. The terrifying force of death is still spreading. Even Soul Tiandi and Shi Xian of Shur Kingdom were a little trembling. Shi Xian, why didn't your ancestor come? The Soul Tiandi stared at the opponent, wanting to delay a little longer. It was only a 7 tribulations realm from the Shur family, who came now. But the ancestor of the 8 tribulations realm did not come. Don't tell me, your ancestors don't know about it. Shi Xian replied indifferently. Does the ancestor know that it is not important? He is the backbone of the Stone Clan, and cannot take risks. This matter has a lot to do with it. What if the ancestors come and fall? Shi Gua may be over. The flame gods are willing to protect the Stone Country, because of the ancestors of the Stone Country. Once the ancestors fall, the gods will also leave. Never let the ancestors take risks. He is the most powerful 7 tribulations realm of the Shur clan in the present age, so naturally let him come. As for the Lord of the Universe, there is already hope of promotion, so there is no need to take risks. Even if you plan ahead, you don't need to take such a big risk. The Stone Clan is not as powerful as your Soul Clan, You will die if you die, and the Soul Clan will not be ruined. Shi Xian knew that the Soul Heaven Emperor, who founded the Eternal Clan, was not a local powerhouse in Guyu time and space. Chapter 57:15. But from other time and space. After hearing this, the Emperor's soul was not angry, but heaved a sigh of relief. He hoped that all 8 tribulations realm would think so that no one would be his opponent. Even if Shi Kingdom's strongest 7 tribulations realm was in front of him, it could not withstand a single blow. He condenses the blood pool and can recover to the half-step 8 tribulations realm. It can match the general 8 tribulations realm. Except for the Master of the Universe in the 8 tribulations realm, no one can kill him. Now in the entire Guyu time and space, there are not many masters of the 8 tribulations realm universe, and there are very few in the 7 tribulations realm. The ancient Wood continent, theoretically, has no master of the universe. But the flame created his own flame fuckingdom, and the strength is not weaker than those of the masters of the universe. In addition, it is a special life, and it is terrible and powerful. In Gumu continent, almost no one is his opponent, except for the Shinmu King at the pinnacle. It is a pity that the current Shinmu King is also old. Your deity? Shi Xian suddenly felt a terrifying aura, which came from the Eternal Kingdom, and was shocked. The clone of Soul Tiandi gradually dimmed, and there was no answer. Tiger poison still doesn't eat children. You are so cruel. Shi Xian stared at the Emperor Soul Heaven in disgust. At the same time, all the 7 tribulation realms that had cooperated with Bobby D descended. Except for the ancestors of Shurgua, they have gathered together. The soul of the Emperor is still a strong man who the awakened blood in Hoi. Together with the Emperor of the Eternal Kingdom, they also turned into dead bones. All of them didn't realize until they died that they were just pawns. It was calculated by my ancestors. In the blood pool, the last half-step strongman of the Eternal Clan in the 7 tribulations realm raised his head and looked at the Soul Heaven Emperor and said angrily, "You are the greatest enemy of my Eternal Clan." The human race is on the brink. You are all foreign races. Even if I personally created it, you will all die. The Soul Heaven Emperor sneered, without any mercy. All the strong who awaken his blood in the Eternal Clan have fallen. The rest are ordinary people. The strongest is the 3 tribulations realm. The Soul Heaven Emperor rushed into the bleeding pool. And he didn't even plan to let go of these people. Together with the 6 tribulations realm powerhouse who was dispatched by him to riot Shanghai, all rose up. Their bodies began to dim and shattered. The red blood veins all gathered towards the Soul Heaven Emperor. And his strength is constantly skyrocketing. This shocked all the powerhouses in riot Shanghai. What a cruel heart. The strong man of the Gumu faction was speechless. Shi Xian's complexion was gloomy, and he was more worried about the current Emperor Soul Heaven than condemning him. The strength suddenly soared so much, these people are definitely not opponents. Snatching Bobby D later is a problem. Here, there are a total of 9 7 tribulations realm, and it is considered that the soul world is 10. As to whether there are other strong players, they don't know. The entire Eternal Kingdom began to collapse. The storm on the rioting star sea swept across the earth, and all things that slack life were all dimmed. Only these 7 tribulations realm can resist. At this time, the Eternal Kingdom was quietly closed. People outside cannot feel the changes in the Eternal Kingdom at all. Just discovered those powerhouses gathered in the Eternal Realm in the 7 tribulations realm. Gathered on the edge of the Eternal Realm, and discovered a huge screen that soars the sky. Blocked their way. Go back and notify the ancestors. These people only left the clones to observe here. And all the deities returned to the clan to notify the ancestors. Those who can cooperate with Bobby D are all in the 7 tribulations realm, and even the 8 tribulations realm. There are some Sanjis who are relatively old-fashioned, and do not want to believe in Bobby D. Nowadays, knowing the changes in the Eternal Kingdom, many superpowers of the robbery have come one after another, but they can't enter the Eternal Kingdom, and can only do it in a hurry. The Wood King of the ancient Wood School, the ancestor of the Stone Kingdom, just looked at all this from a distance. They all discovered that in the Eternal Kingdom, Two terrifying forces have risen. One is the Soul Heaven Emperor. He has absorbed all the eternal blood and has achieved the battle power of the Eight Tribulations realm. On the other is the infinite death power of the Carrier, which is extremely terrifying. Now the aura has risen to the Eight Tribulations realm, more powerful than the Soul Heaven Emperor. This time, the soul of the Emperor was self-defeating. The ancestors of the Stone Kingdom and the King of Shimu frowned. They still underestimated Emperor Bobby, a powerful alien from the stars. How could it be so easy to create the method of the diaspora realm? Even if it is created, Bobby D will not give it to them for free. So what is he planning? The strong in the Eternal Kingdom are almost dead. Several Seven Tribulations realm, who can be close to Bobby D, will also be in the Doomsday. These people have neglected Jian Wushuang's existence. It seems that no one knew that Jian Wushuang was in the center of the storm. Eternal Kingdom. It can't be regarded as a country anymore, because people were killed by the founding emperor himself. In order to forge a pool of blood, the people of an Eternal Kingdom were killed. Improve his bloodline, and kill all the strong of the eternal race. Completely achieved the terrifying combat power of the Eight Tribulations realm of the Soul Heaven Emperor. Only a barren desert was left in the devastated Star Sea. The sea water has long been evaporated. 10 people stood in the dim scarlet sky. 9 people besieged one at the same time. They all want to enter the spaceship half buried by yellow sand. Emperor Soul Heaven, cruel to the common people. I will kill you on behalf of the ancient wood school. Wolf's ambition don't stay. Each of these 7 tribulations is an ancestor of one party, or the facade of a family. Now he was speaking high-sounding words, and besieging the Soul Heaven Emperor. The Soul Heaven Emperor had done something wrong, and the mistake was that he didn't do anything in advance, and killed all these people as soon as possible. Now facing the 9 Seven Tribulation realms, although he still has the upper hand, he also understands that he can't drag on like this. Bobby D is also not simple. Everyone, you seem to have forgotten your mission. After the Emperor Soul Heaven suppressed a 7 Tribulations realm casually, he continued. We are to rekindle the road of cultivation. Why bother to hurt each other now? I swear by Soul Heaven, Emperor Bobby will definitely let him spread the teachings throughout Guyu time and space. Xian snorted coldly and said gloomily, You have even cut off your children and grandchildren, so why do we trust you? In fact, the Emperor Soul Heaven really had this plan. You reading www.akanshu.com. It's not how selfless he is. Rather, he wants to unite all the powerhouses in the dispersal tribulation realm to establish his own eternal kingdom. The eternal kingdom now is a joke. He also dreamed of the arrival of the Emperor in the kingdom of thousands of immortals. Brother Xian, haven't you seen the reality clearly? The Soul Heaven Emperor yelled, and slapped Xian, who was rushing forward with a palm. He pointed to the cosmic boat below and said, Don't forget, Bobby D has never appeared. Although the power of death is constantly rising, who knows who owns that breath? Yes, these people haven't even seen that existence. How can they believe that Emperor Bobby has created the method? Chapter 57:16. The power of death can be born infinitely, and then the breath will skyrocket. What if it's not a human race, or it's not suitable for them to cultivate? There are still more problems. Can't fight inwardly. Just when these people hesitated, a large number of powerful people gathered outside the Eternal Kingdom. Among these powerhouses, there are quite a few masters of the universe. They can say that they don't know anything about Bobby D. A super family like the Stone Clan, cooperating with Bobby D, is only the ancestor of the Stone Clan, and knows Xian. They are not so stupid to let their own universe lord participate in it. Not to mention whether the strength is enough. In case the ancient moon god sect finds out, it will probably fall into the sky of anger. Not worth it. Guyu's time and space was dilapidated, but the power controlled by the ancient moon god sect was not something their families could bear. Today, there is still the Lord of the Universe in the Eight Tribulations realm in the religion, who can stop this kind of superpower coming. The flame gods have to stay behind. After all, it is an abnormal dojo. Even if it comes to the kingdom of flame god, you can fight the god of flame. The real master of the universe is not comparable to a special life. Even if you create your own kingdom of God, it won't work. At the border of the eternal kingdom, a familiar figure of Jian Wushuang descended here, looking inside through the huge scarlet screen. It seems that the rumors are true. Wu Li stood with his hands behind his back and looked into the depths. He was talking to himself, looking particularly funny, but inside his body, there was a heavy voice answering. The power of death is ridiculous. Wu Li touched his nose and then said, the power of death is regenerated. Doesn't this mean that those who disperse the calamity have a way to reignite the path of cultivation? It's not that simple. Death is death. Only the power of life is hope, especially the power of life that is in line with Wanlu. When you enter the interior of Wanlu, you will understand that the strongest power of life can even be used in the universe. The hope of resurrection and dispersal requires a super being who masters the power of life, rather than relying on these crooked ways. A heavy voice came from Wu Li's mind. I hope so. Wu Li nodded, and did not stay here for too long before returning to Yu country. Because Jian Wushuang's deity returned, he needed to replace some of the original treasures, and he had to do things with Jian Wushuang. Now Jian Wushuang, but Wu Li's greatest reliance in entering the Wanlu Shenmu. He will do his best to do whatever he wants, regardless of his requirements. The level of life force in his jade sword is not too high. Compared with Jian Wushuang's life force, it is obviously not at the same level. The purity is different. Ordinary life force is the vitality in the body. This is the cheapest, and some things can be refined from the origin. The power of life can be refined at the highest level, and even the master of the universe in the 8 tribulations realm can't refine it. The life force he got was still given to him by the existence in his body, and it was taken from the Wanlu Shenmu at the beginning. It is the life force of Wanlu. The life of wood represents the pinnacle. The jade sword is only contaminated with the slightest, and it has extremely powerful vitality. Can also rely on this kind of intimacy to open up the Shenmu. But Wu Li didn't know that the sword had no life force on his hands, and it was not taken from the sacred tree. At that time, when the Shenmu is turned on, I don't know what jokes will be made. It's just that these are things to follow. When the holy meeting came, more than 10 7 tribulations realm experts gathered in the eternal realm on Gumu continent, and no one knew what was going on inside. Inside the spaceboat. At this time, Jian Wushuang and Bobby D and the others worked together to break the crack in the giant egg. This scene was very funny. The secret technique of Emperor Bobby's cultivation is very powerful, but the combat power is not strong. Only the level of a catastrophe, but the ability of enslavement is unique in Guyu time and space. At this time, all his strength was exhausted, and the giant god's eggshell did not move. Make a little more effort. Those people outside will definitely risk coming in later, and they will all be done by then. Bobby Emperor was anxious at this time. He was very excited at first, thinking that the giant egg could directly give birth to a super strong. As a result, the power of death is now gone, and the eggshell still hasn't opened. He panicked. This is his strongest whole card. Without this egg, Dylan alone could not stop those 7 tribulations realm. Gula Gula. Bobby D. Pinch Ju cast a peculiar spell. One hand pointed at Dylan, and the other pointed at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang took the initiative to accept the breath, but did not hesitate. It was a clone anyway. So strong. Jian Wushuang suddenly clenched his fist. His supernatural power doubled immediately, from 100,000 times to 200,000 times. The breath on Dylan's body also went from the half-step 6 tribulations realm to the 7 tribulations realm. Don't be stunned, hurry up. Bobby Emperor yelled at the two. He himself has not changed anything. He can only make others stronger. Jian Wushuang ignored him, and when he felt his strength had grown stronger, he began to pull the eggshells that had not yet escaped from the clean. After Dylan's supernatural power increased, one piece at a time, he went crazy to disassemble those eggshells. The eggshell is about to be completely cracked. Jian Wushuang was already peeping through the gap. Obviously he has extremely powerful power, but he can't get out of it. This made Jian Wushuang very curious, and he didn't need Bobby Emperor to threaten him. So he took the initiative to disassemble the eggshell. After knowing the greatest reliance of Bobby D, he was relieved. Although it is temporarily unclear whether he and Mieshing are in the same group, at least the other party knows that he has the power of life, but has no intention of devouring him. This is much better than extinction. Seeing him is like a wild dog seeing shit. No, it can't be compared like that. Anyway, extinction is anxious to swallow him. The two can only live one. Bobby D did not have this idea. This can be seen from the eyes. But this does not mean that the other party will not do anything to him. If the two are relatively close, Bobby D will definitely send him to extinction. If the relationship is not good, Bobby D will break the path of extinction and kill him. There is no way to survive. Unfortunately, Bobby's strength is too weak. Can't see that he is just a clone. Dylan is losing the robbery again, has improved his divine power. But he has not improved his realm, nor can he see his details. Only knowing the death, he will not die so easily. Jian Wushuang and Dylan continued to disassemble, and there was movement inside, and the aura seemed to strengthen again despite the drop of the eggshell. This made Bobby D very excited, and continued to inspire the two of them. Dylan, hurry up. When I succeed, I will seal you up as a prince. Jian Wushuang, you can't stop. If I reach the top, I will help you swallow the extinction, and let you take the reincarnation of time and space. The words of Bobby D are getting bigger and bigger. Mastering the cycle of time and space has come out. If you really have to master it, Jian Wushuang can aspire to all the time and space. Chapter 57:17. Believe is definitely not believed. These old guys are very bad. But he was not idle. He has to work harder than Dylan, and can't wait to let the giants in the eggshell come out. In fact, it is not only because of curiosity. More importantly, he has the token of the giant gods. With that token, the born dead giant clan powerhouse might not attack him, maybe even help him. This is a great helper. It has not yet come out. It has the aura of the 8 tribulations realm. If it comes out, not to mention the soaring to the 9 tribulations realm, it may be possible to reach the state of half a step in the 9 tribulations realm. The half-step 9 tribulations realm represents the peak of Guyu's time and space. Perhaps Guyu Xinjiao didn't have such a powerful opponent, and the opponent really wanted to help him. This Guyu time and space, he was not walking sideways. Tear. The sound of space tearing sounded. Jian Wushuang's busy hands paused, and then he felt the tightness of a few horror auras wrapping him. Babbitt. 10 terrifying figures appeared in the core warehouse. The whole space was trembling. Bobby D backed back one after another, suppressed a little breathless. It is no different from Jian Wushuang. Even Jian Wushuang is more able to resist pressure than him. Dylan saw these people without fear, and directly stood in front of Emperor Bobby, stretched out his hands and stopped everyone. This time, without being reminded by Emperor Bobby, Jian Wushuang frantically destroyed those eggshells. Want that giant clan powerhouse to come out quickly. Otherwise, he will be eliminated from the game this time. It's you guys, what is this going to do? Although Emperor Bobby was suppressed, his heart was like Ming Jing, knowing that he would buy time for Jian Wushuang now. The Soul Tiandi glanced sideways at Jian Wushuang, and then said, "Respected Lord Bobby, what you promised back then should be fulfilled. Let me stay quiet. Our respected Lord Bobby, what are you doing behind our back?" Shirshian walked slowly. Dylan wanted to stop, but Shirshian hit his chest with a punch, and his entire body sank in. One punch hit Dylan hard, and he didn't reveal a trace of supernatural power. Bobby retreated to the corner, not daring to move, although knowing that these people will not kill him. If he is looted, he will be over. In the past, these people didn't deal with him, because they wanted to raise fish. Now that the fish is fat, it's time to catch it and enjoy it. And Shirshian also found Jian Wushuang. The aura seen from Jian Wushuang's body was only 200,000 divine power, and the realm was not clear. A calamity realm with 200,000 divine powers is not afraid of them, and after they descend, there is still a giant egg. This made Swordsman very surprised. That power is in the egg. Only then did the Soul Tiandi discover it. The inside of the cosmic ark was special. They hadn't noticed something wrong just after it arrived, but now they discovered that the giant egg was exuding the aura of the 8 tribulations realm. Jian Wushuang knew that it wouldn't work anymore. So he thought about it and jumped off the giant egg. Stopped everyone. The Soul Tiandi sneered and said with a mockery, "Why, is Lord Bobby's servants no longer?" A calamity realm with 200,000 divine powers stopped in front of the 9-7 calamities realm and dared to face a Soul Heaven Emperor who possessed the combat power of the 8th stage realm. Let a nasty kid come out. Everyone smiled. In their opinion, the divine power has not broken 1 million, and they are not superpowers. 1 million divine power requires at least half a step of the battle power of the 7 tribulations realm. Dylan, who had just over 1 million, was defeated by Swordsman. Probably the weakest of these old guys have more than 1.5 million magical powers. Full of oppression. Even if Jian Wushuang was the deity here, he used the strongest Starry Sky catalog, as if he was scraping these people. The Starry Sky catalog, although you can plunge your opponent into a Starry Sky portrait. But these people can't do everything with one force. But breaking Jian Wushuang's method was easy. The sword has no double-sided color and is calm. Not only was it a clone, but he had a countermeasure. "You old guys!" Jian Wushuang raised the corners of his mouth and yelled directly, "This is the egg of the giant gods, and it contains your method to reignite the road of cultivation. I see who of you dare to attack." The Soul Tiandi and others were all taken aback. Swordsman moved the corner of his eyes and said with disdain, "Boy, do you dare to bluff me?" "Thanks, Tusk, I didn't scare you. If you don't believe me, just try it." Jian Wushuang gave way and stretched out his hand to let everyone go forward. Bobby D was furious at this time. This is his masterpiece. Even if it is dead, I don't want these people to be ruined. "Dare you?" Bobby Emperor played a secret method and directly arranged an enchantment on the giant egg. Want to keep dragging. The more he looked at this time, the more he felt wrong. The power of death in it was still rising. If they let the opponent out, they might not be opponents. There is still a crisis of fall. Destroy it, caused by everyone's gaze. There was a voice in my heart. This is a scourge. They felt that Bobby D was able to revive a dead thing and enhance such a powerful strength. They already believed that the other party had created a way to rekindle the path of cultivation. There is nothing to lose by destroying this egg. But Bobby D knew that he had never created a way to reignite the path of cultivation. I never thought of creating it to benefit the entire time and space. His plan is to control all the dispersion realm, and then dominate the entire time and space. What is the most in the 9 great spaces? The most scattered robbery, except for the existence of the 3-9 tribulations realm, that can last forever. The rest will basically embark on the road of dispersal. And there will be more and more such powerhouses. As long as these people are mastered, then Bobby D can dominate time and space. That's why he will revive this giant egg after death. Once his experiment is successful, he will be able to use the giant gods with the power of death to erode those dispersal realms, and then control them. "No!" Bobby Emperor wailed. Dylan got up from the ground and wanted to stop him, but was shattered by the powerful aura directly. Calm only has half-life left. Jian Wushuang didn't think as much as Emperor Bobby. A trace of pride appeared in his heart, and then waited for these people to take action. Ha! The Emperor Soul Heaven gathered chi with both hands, and condensed 2 groups of colorful chi waves from the clenched palms. When he pressed his hands, the 2 chi waves merged together, and an aura that ruined the world and the earth burst out in an instant. Antiquity. The breath strengthened again. Jian Wushuang came directly behind the Soul Heaven Emperor this time. His aura was too strong. He could fall as long as he contaminated it. With this blow, I am afraid that the entire Eternal Kingdom will be destroyed, and the Gumu continent will be shaken. Maybe the mainland will have to land and sink. Crazy. The other 9 superpowers in the 7 tribulations realm were also moved. Chapter 57:18. They have not done anything like this in Gumu continent. Even if they did it, they didn't have such a strong strength. The power gathered in the hands of the Soul Heaven Emperor had reached the level of the 8 Tribulations realm. This blow can really destroy the Eternal Kingdom, but it doesn't matter. People have been sacrificed in blood by the Soul Heaven Emperor, and now that the Eternal Kingdom disappears with a single blow, it is completely destroyed. Broken. The Emperor Soul Heaven shouted the last word. The colorful air wave between his hands blasted out, and the universe ship was instantly annihilated. Jian Wu's hands were quick, and he brought both Dylan and Bobby D to a safe position. That is, behind those 7 Tribulations realm, relying on the aura of those 7 Tribulations realm to resist the powerful waves of air. The scorching heat wave hits, and the divine body is less than 100,000 times lower than it can be melted in an instant. Fortunately, Emperor Bobby blessed his divine power to 200,000 times. Otherwise, he would never see this horrible blow. Under the heat wave, through the endless white light, Jian Wuxia witnessed the power of the 8 Tribulations realm with his own eyes. The entire Eternal Kingdom is gone. Looking from the top of the ancient wood continent, there is an unfathomable huge pit on the land. After the heat wave and white light, the ground was shaking. The nearby countries, and even the entire ancient wood continent are shaking. It took a few breaths before it slowly calmed down. Jian Wuxia was completely shocked. He thought of the time and space of Morwa at the time. He knew that the time and space of Morwa was destroyed at the time. He thought that people were all dead. Now it seems that it was destroyed by pure power. Destroying a long river of time and space in the middle reaches is not only because of swallowing it. Fear. These 2 words can't describe Jian Wuxia's mood at this time. The glare reflected, and everyone experienced brief blindness. The Soul Heaven Emperor seemed to have overdrawn his power, and the aura of the whole person dropped a little. The rest of the 7 Tribulations realm was sighing, but fortunately, they didn't fight the Soul Heavenly Emperor. Otherwise, if the blow continues, they will be seriously injured if they die. Too frightening. The power of the 8 Tribulations realm is really not comparable to them. He also sacrificed the blood of his own Hou-Yi with the blood of the Emperor Soul Heaven, allowing himself to return to the pinnacle, comparable to the 8 Tribulations realm. However, this kind of power should be limited, and the same method would not be used a few times by the Soul Heaven Emperor. But even so, the strength of the Soul Heaven Emperor, at this moment, the ancient wood continent, can also be ranked in the top 5. Except outside the 8 Tribulations, the Universe Master in the 7 Tribulations realm was able to fight the Soul Heaven Emperor. This is the first time many people have seen such a terrifying power. Bobby D once followed the extinction in the peak period, but he was not shocked by this blow, just worried about the destruction of the giant egg. Now staring at the black mist in the center of the strong light. The rest is the same. It should be dead, Shi Xian said tremblingly. Although Jian Wuxia's strength is not as strong as these people, the power of death is very sensitive to him, and he can still feel a trace of the power of death. Just now, the Soul Tiandi made a full blow, but did not destroy the giant egg. Now wait for the strong light to dissipate and find out. Even if he is not dead, I am afraid that there will be a sigh of relief. Jian Wuxia shook his head helplessly. If these people knew the truth, I am afraid they would regret doing it now. The hope of Emperor Bobby is all on the giant egg, and the method of creating a renewed spiritual path is also related to the giant egg. Destroy now, it's over. Call. The Emperor Soul Tian put away his breath and took a deep breath. He had just displayed 10% of his supernatural power, which indeed consumed a lot. The power of the dispersing tribulation realm is getting less and less, and he can't use it a few times to attack him at this level. Of course, he was also betting that he could rekindle the road of cultivation this time. So what was the amount of energy spent now? Wow! The glare ended. The bright light outside the Eternal Kingdom also disappeared. Countless tribulation realm who came to watch fled one after another. The breath just now has exceeded their imagination. If it weren't for the twilight, they would have to die. That wave of energy passed through the giant egg, and all the remaining power hit the blood twilight. Fortunately, The blood twilight was extremely powerful and did not break. If there is a rupture, only a trace of strength is needed to wipe out those unlucky catastrophes. As for Jian Wushuang and the others, they were resisted by a few seven tribulations realm. There was nothing to do, but the bright light couldn't open their eyes. Now the light has settled. The three stood up. Dylan was already seriously injured, but he was still supporting Bobby D. "My lord, it's over." Dylan stared at the position of the giant egg and couldn't help sighing. The eyes of Bobby D's eyes were about to burst. Only Jian Wushuang felt that it was not that simple. The position of the giant egg. Now there are only some floating egg shells. As for the giant inside, it is gone. But the force of death is still there. Qi floating in the air. Shi Xian and others breathed a sigh of relief and said calmly, "It seems that it has been solved." Soul Emperor. The others are a little worried about the future development. The strength displayed by the Soul Heaven Emperor is too terrifying. And these people are not opponents at all. Now Bobby D is by his side. Everyone wants monopoly. The war is about to start. But when they were guarding the Soul Heaven Emperor, they found that the Soul Heaven Emperor was motionless and pale. Not good. Shi Xian first noticed something was wrong, and quickly backed away. Just as Shi Xian retreated, and the rest of the people just reacted, the body of the Soul Heaven Emperor burst instantly. The power of death revived again. After being broken into his body, the Soul Heaven Emperor seemed to have escaped from the cage. He is in my body." The Soul Heaven Emperor looked shocked. He just finished his attack and felt that it had been resolved, but he did not expect that the breath that he swallowed contained the power of death. And this force has will. Everyone moved their sights to the bursting flesh of the Soul Heaven Emperor, their eyes sluggish. "Still alive!" Bobby Emperor exclaimed excitedly. As long as the giant in the egg is still alive, there is still hope of a comeback. None of the 10 great 7 tribulations realm here is an opponent. Jian Wushuang also looked shocking. He thought this giant should be seriously injured, even if he didn't die. But now that force of death is climbing extremely and getting stronger. Frightening power. Yu reading www.akanshu. Calm in the sky. Countless breaths of death gradually condensed into a black mist, and then rushed to the place where the soul of the Emperor's body burst. It seems to be merging. After the recovery, the soul of the Emperor's eyes shrank, and he shouted angrily, "Hurry up and kill him!" At this time, the rest of the people also reacted, and they all tried their best. At this time, the Emperor Soul Heaven compressed his breath again with both hands, preparing to expand his moves again. But Emperor Bobby stood up and blocked the place where the black mist condensed. "You have to do it again, even this seat will be killed." Bobby D gritted his teeth. He didn't want to be controlled by others. The days of being a dog for Mieshing were not easy. Finally escaped after so long, he didn't want to be controlled by these people. Chapter 57:19. Even if I am going to die, I will not bow my head. Shi Xian and others hesitated. If they kill Bobby D, they will be in vain this time. Seeing everyone hesitate, the Soul Heaven Emperor furiously said, "You won't pull him away." At this time, someone reacted and wanted to step forward to catch Bobby D. I saw that the 7 tribulations realm powerhouse had just approached, and he was stopped by the protective cover outside Bobby Emperor. Haha, it's not that easy to catch me. As long as you attack, I will remove the protective cover and die together. Jian Wushuang looked at it sightfully. At this time, he had no choice but to be a bystander. This time it was not in vain. Even the power of the 8 tribulations realm has been seen, and the only regret may be that he did not see the birth of the giant god. Although these 7 tribulations realm are very eager to rekindle the path of cultivation, they still choose the latter compared to their own fate. Do it! No one was hesitating this time. It is bound to kill even Bobby D. Otherwise, when the giant gods condense, they will be finished. The breath of the power of death is too terrifying. The 7 tribulation realms, each showing their magical powers, took out the chassis one after another. For a time, countless rays of light shone down from the sky. Jian Wushuang had escaped early. A huge petal withered from the sky, followed by a loud hum, shattered space, and time disorder. The figures of everyone are a little distorted. The space they are in is already unstable, and they can only step back to see the situation. Jian Wushuang was staring at Dylan, who had fallen into the abyss below. He flashed, and instantly came to Luo Luan, and fished Dylan out of the gravel. Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief when the mark on the opponent's forehead was still there. The mark of Dylan's control is still there, proving that Bobby D is still alive. Moreover, the force of death has not disappeared. This time it was Sol Tianda's turn and Shixian, and others desperate. Can't kill. The 10 of them worked together, plus Soul Heaven Emperor, a super powerhouse with 8 Calamity Realm combat power. It is already comparable to the top 8 Tribulations realm. It hasn't succeeded yet. On the contrary, the force of death became stronger, and the aura continued to rise. Jian Wushuang frowned when he felt the force of death. It seems something is not right. Emperor Bobby has something to do with extinction. He has something to do with extinction. Then when I arrived in Guyu time and space, it didn't take long before I met Emperor Bobby. It was a coincidence. And now Bobby Emperor has come up with another thing similar to extinction, based on death. Although he has mastered the power of life, he is not based on life. Ji Dao evolved into a starry sky, lighting up the universe, and he was all based on the sword. It can be regarded as normal cultivation, which is different from extinction. Power is not single. Exit. Jian Wushuang held Dylan, and turned to look towards the sky. He wants to run away now. In the sky, the black mist gathers. A figure slowly formed, the size of 1,000 battles. There are still red lines on the face of the devil's chest. Titan. There are 9 red striped roads on his chest, linked to the dark red core in the center of the chest. There is his heart. It is still shining now. Jian Wushuang saw the identity of the opponent at a glance. Giant Clan, the line of Red God. Overlord of the starry sky, the Giant Clan. There are also clans and branches. Frosuf, Jago, and Fomesa are all giants of the clan with noble blood. And this Red God line is just a branch. But even so, they are true giants, not to be underestimated. Moreover, this existence was carefully crafted by Bobby D. It was supposed to be dead, but now it is based on the power of death and reborn. It's over. The 7 Tribulation Realm powerhouses all leaked out of despair. That power is terrible, and in the center of the eyebrows of this giant tribe, there is also the mark of slavery of Bobby D. Huh. Bobby D appeared out of thin air, covered with a red light mask. Thank you, Qi Jiuxiao. Emperor Bobby was full of confidence on his face. He turned his head and thanked Qi Jiuxiao first, and then turned to look at those 7 tribulations. Titan. Qi Jiuxiao. When Emperor Bobby's unkind gaze swept over, Qi Jiuxiao's gaze also looked over. This makes everyone can't help but shrink their necks. Jian Wushuang, come here. Emperor Bobby greeted Jian Wushuang to come, and then pointed to those 7 tribulation realms and said, I will give you a choice. Kneel down and be a dog. Jian Wushuang, who flew towards Bobby D, almost fell from the sky when he heard these words. This is definitely the most arrogant thing he has ever heard. A choice. That is no choice. Carrying Dylan and came to Bobby Emperor, Jian Wushuang stood behind Bobby Emperor. Now he seems to be a man of Bobby D. Your performance just now is very good. Bobby D's complexion eased, and then said, I originally planned to kill you. In this way, the old dog will definitely go crazy. He is looking for life. It took a long time before I found you. As long as you die, you can actually give peace to the starry sky. Otherwise this guy will definitely harm the starry sky after he returns to his peak. Jian Wushuang was as calm as ever. Anyway, the clone came, and he was fearless. Listening to Bobby's narration, he nodded and replied, It seems that you have changed your mind. Yes, Bobby D did not deny. He was indeed planning to kill Jian Wushuang. This is no longer necessary. Perhaps after seeing Qi Jiuxiao's strength he started to be a wolf. Or, he has other plans for Jian Wushuang. In his way, return his body. He also wanted to use Jian Wushuang to destroy the opponent. Not why, just to vent the evil anger to the original self. He wanted to help Jian Wushuang to devour the life. When Jian Wushuang heard this idea, he sneered in his heart. He accepted this kindness. In his opinion, Bobby D still does not understand extinction. Extinction can talk to him through the time and space of Morrow. Who can guarantee that the giant Qi Jiuxiao has nothing to do with extinction? Although the power of death on the two bodies is different, the smell is too similar. Jian Wushuang didn't dare to be careless. The deity is planning to run away at any time. Extinction seemed to have seen through, and explained, "Don't worry, Qi Jiuxiao doesn't need to swallow life force, just as it can reach the top." It seems to be wrong. Jian Wushuang could only nod his head at this time. And even those 7 tribulations realm were about to be dogs. He is an emperor, but he has no choice. Fortunately, it's just a clone. Why don't you just follow Bobby D? The deity is hiding in the Yu country, waiting for the holy meeting to start entering the Wanlu Shenmu. Next, let's see how Bobby D planned. Seeing that the soul Tiandi and the others really twisted, Bobby's palm was placed on Dylan's chest, and Dylan's injury was instantly restored. Chapter 57:20. Jian Wushuang was a little surprised when he saw this scene. Really can't underestimate people. Obviously the strength is very average, but it can control so many strong people, and can also heal and increase. Call. After Dylan recovered, he stood behind Emperor Bobby, staring at those who twisted the super strong, his mouth raised. Doomed but so. Qi Jiuxiao, go kill a few to practice hand skills. Bobby Emperor saw that these people didn't give him a lot of face, and he took 3 breaths. These people haven't thought about it yet. Hearing the order of Emperor Bobby, Qi Jiuxiao shot instantly, directly found the most powerful Soul Heaven Emperor. His instinct told him that if he swallowed the opponent, he would strengthen himself. This is also the most perverted place in Qi Jiuxiao, and also the proud place of Emperor Bobby. To rekindle the path of cultivation in the Sanjia realm, it is to swallow those weak Sanjia. Of course, only Qi Jiuxiao can do this. No matter what, as long as the road can be rekindled, it is already half the battle. Next, we still need to continue to improve. From the perspective of servitude, we can remove the devouring thing that is too deep, so that those diaspora realms can condense the power of death to practice. Then it can create a way to reignite the path of cultivation. In this way, all those who practiced this method in the dispersing tribulation realm needed to become his slaves. As for the devouring class, forget it. It will cause the 9 great time and space shocks, and then the masters of the universe will also find him trouble. Although there are many tribulation realms, the real combat power is still on the side of the master of the universe. And there are 3 eternal existences that will last forever. Can't be too crazy. Be low-key. On the other side, Qi Jiuxiao had already confronted the Soul Heaven Emperor. With just a few moves, the pinnacle Soul Heaven Emperor hit was severely injured. The other 9-7 tribulations realm, including Shi Xian, came to the side of Emperor Bobby and directly bowed down and bowed. They are not stupid. I don't agree now, only one death. It is promised that not only can you live, but you can also become the first batch of superpowers to rekindle the path of cultivation. Why not do it? The Soul Heaven Emperor only supported a few breaths, and couldn't hold it anymore. Master Bobby, I am willing to be your dog. The Soul Heaven Emperor shouted loudly, but Emperor Bobby turned a deaf ear to his ears, and chatted with those 7 tribulations realm emperors, who had taken refuge in very politely. This also made those 7 tribulations realm powerhouse sigh. The strength of the Soul Heaven Emperor is much stronger than them. Bobby D didn't care much. It seems that being a dog doesn't matter how strong it is. It depends on who is more knowledgeable about current affairs. Loyalty comes first. After understanding this, everyone spoke more attentively. What Jian Wushuang was watching was clear from the side. The way of slavery is really extraordinary. Bobby D can reach today, with absolute mind. Seeing that the Soul Heaven Emperor could no longer hold it, Emperor Bobby waved his hand and said, "Jiuxiao, come back." Qi Jiuxiao heard that without any hesitation. Even if he wanted to swallow the Soul Heaven Emperor very much, he still honestly returned to Bobby Emperor and stood respectfully. The figure has also changed from the size of 10,000 battles to the height of a battle. even stronger than the burly Dylan. The appearance of the flesh is like an evil god. It's terrifying. And it's turbulent just to make people look at it. Those in the Seven Tribulations realm saw this plague be so respectful and obedient in front of Emperor Bobby. And his kneeling posture changed into a straightforward manner. This time, Emperor Bobby didn't need to speak again. The Emperor's soul heaven flew over. Master Bobby. The soul Tiandi knelt at the feet of Emperor Bobby like everyone else. Such a powerful soul heaven emperor. The soul heaven emperor, who sacrificed all his relatives in blood. In the end it became a dog. Bobby D proudly raised his head and stretched out a hand, with a ring made of various gems on the top. The soul Tiandi swallowed when he saw the green paw sticking out. He stretched his head and kissed. Master. The eyes of the Emperor Soul Tian changed, staring at the eyes of Emperor Bobby, extremely respectful. A black mark appeared on the center of his eyebrows. When the others saw it, they rushed forward and kissed the back of Bobby D's hand. Jian Wuxuang was speechless. He was wondering, if it were the deity, would he be like these people now? At present, it seems that Bobby D wants to keep him. I just don't know if Bobby D will enslave his clone. Once he wants to be enslaved, he still has to go. If the clone is enslaved, even the deity is enslaved. He is finished. Wow! A circular spaceship appeared above the crowd. Emperor Bobby backed his hands and said calmly, "It's time to leave." Ha! Everyone entered the cabin together from the floating compass below the spaceship. The furnishings in the core warehouse are weird. It's nothing like objects in time and space. This is something from the Starry Sky civilization. They don't know and it's normal. In front of a round table that grew from the ground, Bobby D was sitting in the first place, and Jian Wuxuang was sitting on the opposite side. On both sides are the top 10 Seven Tribulations realm powerhouse. Dylan stood behind Bobby Emperor like a guard, without taking a seat. As for the table, there are all kinds of metals. Bobby D picked up a piece at will and chewed it. The rise of eating. The rest, including Jian Wuxuang, did not move. Seeing that these people didn't use their mouths, Emperor Bobby wiped the corners of his mouth, swept everyone's eyes coldly and said, "Take it out and don't eat it. Isn't it not giving me face?" When everyone heard it, their bodies trembled, and they picked up the metal on the table and gnawed at it. Jian Wuxuang hesitated and glanced sideways at Qi Jiuxiao's location. Qi Jiuxiao didn't sit here, but built a honeycomb on the cabin, and his body turned into a black mist and stored inside. Apparently, it is a habit of inheritance. Jian Wuxuang, why don't you eat it? Emperor Bobby looked at Jian Wuxuang with unkind eyes. The people who were still gnawing at the metal also raised their heads to look at Jian Wuxuang. Their eyes were also bad. Jian Wuxuang's heart moved, and he quickly explained, "Master Bobby, I have no appetite." He didn't hide it, and said it directly. Those Seven Tribulations realm are the dogs of Emperor Barbie, but he is not. After hearing his words, Bobby's eyes were getting colder and colder. You reading www.akanshu. Calm looked at each other for several breaths, and finally Bobby Emperor laughed and said, "Haha, you are honest and I like it. Thanks for the praise." Jian Wuxuang also breathed a sigh of relief. As long as he is not enslaved, everything is easy to do. It's even better if we join hands to deal with extinction. If Bobby D is willing, now they can kill back to the time and space of the original universe. Directly crush the life to death. Isn't it cool? Jian Wuxuang also had some expectations. But then Bobby Emperor's words poured cold water on him. Jian Wuxuang, I am very optimistic about you. You are different from their waste. In the future, you will be able to grasp the existence of time and space reincarnation, practice hard, and catch up with the pace of extinction as soon as possible. Then I will help you to devour extinction. As soon as Emperor Bobby said this, Jian Wuxuang was a bit lonely. Chapter 57:21. But the soul of the Emperor, Shi Xian and others, but they leaked enviable gazes. Although these people are enslaved, they also have their own will. It's just that this will is completely controlled by Emperor Bobby. Let them go east, they won't go west. The reason why Jian Wushuang couldn't get excited was because he had caught up with the pace of extinction, and Emperor Bobby needed to help him. It is not better to solve it by yourself. What if Bobby Emperor slaps him again? Ugh! Jian Wushuang sighed in his heart, but there was a hint of joy on his face. He stood up and held a fist respectfully to Emperor Bobby, which was regarded as a thank you, then took a seat. He is very curious now where Bobby D will take them. The Eternal Kingdom has been destroyed, and when he left, he saw that Bobby D even cut away the space. This is to hide yourself completely. Fortunately, Bobby D didn't intend to conceal them, but set his next plan. Reignite the method of road repair. This is also what the Emperor Sol Tian and Shi Xian and others look forward to most. According to Bobby D's plan, they will go to a dangerous place and wait for a while to go to a special place to find a treasure. As long as he gets that treasure, Emperor Bobby will be able to create a way to rekindle the path of cultivation. Now I still need some layout. Some of you need to go back to their respective sects and conceal my affairs. I will explain the details to you. Bobby Emperor began to arrange the tasks of everyone. Jian Wushuang was nothing, just listening curiously. The 7 Tribulations realm of Guma school Jiangliang, as well as some other ancestors of the 7-star sect, all returned to their own forces and continued to practice normally. If there is a need, Bobby D will notify them. These people have been enslaved, and they are not afraid of rebellion, although they left. But every move is under the supervision of Bobby D, and there is no possibility of escape at all. Okay, it's probably this arrangement. Everything can be done according to my orders. Emperor Bobby had a serious expression, and he was more concerned about the method of reigniting the road of cultivation than those of the dispersing tribulation realm. After everyone heard it, they took their orders. Yes, never disappoint the adults' expectations. Bobby D took out a stack of tokens and distributed them to everyone at will. There are also numbers above, from 1 to 10. The Soul Heaven Emperor's hand is the number 1 token, and Shi Xian is the number 2. The Jiangliang of the Guma school is number 3. It seems that they are ranked according to their strength. It's just that the token looks nothing special. Jian Wushuang didn't hold it in his hand, so he was a little curious. Bobby D explained at this time. You are mine with this token. This time the plan needs to conceal your identity, but in the future, you can definitely tell outsiders that you are my people or godsons. Okay. Yes, Godfather. The Soul Tiandi became smart this time, and he called the first one to speak. It is simply to recognize the thief as the father. The others also opened their mouths and shouted. Jian Wushuang stared at Shi Xian. This guy's father is still alive. Okay, you can set off. If you don't have the orders, you can find the secret room to practice here at will. Bobby D was also full at this time, and slowly got up from his chair. Jian Wushuang glanced around. Some people left. Some people also got up and went into the secret room to practice. It seems all this is normal, but just now they beat you to death. Things are impermanent. Bobby D also left the cabin, and when he entered his own core cabin, he turned to look at Jian Wushuang and said, Jian Wushuang, if you have any treasures you need, you can find me at any time. After speaking, he left. Dylan also followed into the core cabin. Jian Wushuang himself was left in the cabin. When I looked up and saw Qi Jiexio's hive, I realized that this fellow was there. He didn't rush to practice in the secret room, but came to the edge of the cabin and looked at the outside world. Before the huge French windows, everything is transparent, and he can see the outside scenery. It is a miniature universe, represents a master of the universe. Although I don't know where the flying boat is going, but he himself knew that he should also head towards the Lord of the universe, leaving the Temple of Qishan in just 10,000 years. He is an emperor who has already participated in the battle at the 8 Tribulations realm level. Although just a bystander, he doesn't need any effort, but also a little reluctant. He needs constant strength to be able to gain a firm foothold in Guyu time and space. His thoughts rose. Jian Wushuang's eyes were firm. He sat cross-legged in front of the French window and slowly closed his eyes. The subjects will has also returned to the deity. You state Wu Mansion. The matter of the Eternal Kingdom passed only 3 days, and the entire Gumu continent, and even Guyu time and space spread. The soul of the emperor sacrificed blood to the common people, and the major forces went to encircle and suppress the dead and wounded. Shi Xian of the Shi family has fallen. In the 9 great 7 tribulations, only 4 came back alive. For a time this matter swept all over the place. From the tribulation realm to the emperor, they are all talking about it. After the blood twilight of the Eternal Kingdom fell, many people went to check it out. On this day, Elder Mu Chun came to Wu Mansion and insisted on pulling Jian Wushuang and Wu Li to join in the fun. There is no way. Whoever makes the other party's status high, the two of them can only go together. For some reason, Jian Wushuang found that Wu Li didn't seem to care about this matter. According to common sense, such a big battle broke out. No matter who it is, it should be shocked and curious. The 3 set out together and arrived in the Eternal Kingdom in one day. Jian Wushuang pretended to be curious and looked around. There is no choice but to socialize. He just left with Bobby D a few days ago, too familiar with everything here. As for the war, with the inside story, he knows better than anyone else. There is really no curiosity at all. In less than half a day, he began to persuade Elder Mu Chun to leave with him. There is really nothing good to see. The space and land here are gone. There is only one huge black hole left. There is not even a trace of breath. It is not a battle relic, has nothing to study at all. Finally, under the persuasion of him and Wu Li, the 3 turned around and left. When they left, a group of people came on the other side of the black hole. They are people from Vietnam. They are very close to the Eternal Country, but they are much faster than our people from the Stone Country. A young man in the group said methodically. A group of 7 people, 4 old men, and 3 young men. When hearing about you state, one of the young people said, "People of you state Tusk, I heard that Shurjiu suffered a lot in you state a few days ago, and was beaten to sleep by an emperor. Being able to defeat Shurjiu, it seems that the opponent's divine power has surpassed 180,000, and his hands are really itchy." The 2 young emperors were talking about each other. It's just that the woman in red standing in front of them is very indifferent. Chapter 57:22. I have been watching the tide of the black hole, the abyss already below, a battle at the tribulation level. She is curious, especially the 7 tribulations realm. The 2 young emperors behind him were always talking about Yu Gua. By the way, the emperor who defeated Shurjiu is the heavenly arrogant of that family. It's so close to you state. Why don't we go and play? I heard that it is the nephew of the ancestor of the Wu family. What is it called? The young emperor scratched his head, and then thought of something said. By the way, his name is Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang. When she heard this name, the red-dressed woman's expression changed. She blurted out unknowingly, and turned her head to look at the 2 of them. Seeing the expression of the woman in the big red dress, both of them were shocked. The 2 of them are Hui, the guardian deity of Shurgua, and Tianjiao, the emperor of Shurgua. But compared with the woman in red, their status is far worse. The woman in red is the strongest among Shurgadajun Tianjiao recently. It is also the Hui with the most stored blood among the flame Hui. The status surpasses the general lord of the universe, and is the Hui that the flame cares most about. This time he came out, and even arranged 4-5 tribulations realm powerhouses for protection. Hui of the other 2 flame gods. Although jealous, they are not as good as the woman in red in terms of status and power. Fan Tianfeng. In other words, it is Fan Feng. When she heard Jian Wushuang, she was not surprised, some were just excited. She is now much stronger than before, and she has long wanted to find someone to show off. She even thought that she had surpassed the once Emperor Jiuyun. Jian Wushuang, Fan Feng said silently in his heart. Also learned from the second population of Jian Wushuang's recent 10,000 years. He is the nephew of the ancestors of the Wu family, and he is also the son of the Yu Kingdom in the future. Thanks Tusk, we are all moving forward. You are good. Just a few days after coming here, I thought about being a door-to-door son-in-law. Fan Feng thought disdainfully. The two young emperors behind him didn't know what the eldest lady was thinking and stopped talking for a while. Fan Tianfeng had an idea at the bottom of his heart and said, Go back to Shirgua, go to the royal family to see what kind of waste was lost to a kid from the Yu country and even shot by someone. They can lose this face, but we can't throw it together. This. Both of them hesitated. What does the shame of the Stone Kings have to do with them? They didn't know that Fan Feng was about to take Jian Wushuang's knife. And there is already a plan. Jian Wushuang, who is especially good at calculating, can't imagine that he will be calculated by his own people. At this time, Jian Wushuang returned to Wu Mansion and finally sent Elder Mu Chen away, then hurriedly returned to his room and began to practice. There are many treasures on his body now, especially the original treasures. Wu Li helped him to exchange a lot, and now it happened to be able to improve his strength again before the holy meeting came. Since fighting Shi Jiao, he felt that he couldn't underestimate the emperor of Guyu time and space. Maybe those emperors who don't appear to be leaking on the surface have a big killer. Just like Sang Biao and Inai Kuan. The sudden outbreak is the most terrible. He doesn't want to lose to the same rank. To be honest, after he broke through to become the emperor, he has not practiced in retreat. At the emperor level, he has the least improved strength. Of course, it's the head of Hadao, and it doesn't count when it comes to Hadao. Daojun is the one who has improved the most strength. And the emperor cannot fall. Wow. Under the enchantment cloth, the time flow rate was adjusted to 100,000 times. 1 year outside, here is 100,000 years. There are still more than 2 years before the wedding. He plans to leave the customs 1 month in advance, and all the remaining time is spent on cultivation. More than 200,000 years is enough for him to digest the treasures he has recently obtained. The original treasure is worth hundreds of millions of square meters. Not to mention being in the Temple of Qishan, even in Guyu time and space. A strong man who can take out so many treasures at one time is at least in the Three Tribulations realm. The poorer Three Tribulations realm might not be able to be taken out. After all, the strength of the same rank is also very different. Jie Jing is not an emperor. The dispersal of the Third Order realm and the master of the universe in the Third Order realm can be said to be one world and one earth. The heart of time and space. Jian Wushuang opened a jade box, somewhat curious. According to the introduction above, this green round stone is worth 70 million cubic meters of cosmic crystals. 1/5 of all treasures are standing. This treasure is not simple, contains the true meaning of time and space. Now he just fumbled for the true meaning of time. Still know nothing about time and space. The space is simple. Time is tedious. Now he didn't even understand the time. How could he understand the power of time and space? It's just a fuzzy feeling. For example, knowing time and space can travel between the future and the past. The only swallow. Jian Wu's hands pressed hard, and the power of time and space heart entered his original starry sky along the palm of his hand. 6,000 black holes are running at the same time, and the power that bursts out is comparable to that of the Lord of the Universe. Although he has not come into contact with many masters of the universe, but in the conversation with Wu Li he also learned the source of divine power. Space is very weak, time is even more ordinary. A lot of cultivation time in the 7 Tribulations realm was not as good as the master of the 5 Tribulations universe in Mora time and space. After all, they just use time and space to assist, not caring. 1,000 black holes can condense the universe and become the master of the universe. When Jian Wushuang saw those universes, he said it was a miniature universe. It is too small, and the universe is not as big as his thoughts. Not to mention his origin is starry sky. Just 6,000 black holes lit up can be comparable to the Lord of the Universe in the 4 Tribulations realm. In the ancient moon time and space, 10,000 black holes represented the pinnacle of the Lord of the 4 Tribulations realm universe. Of course, this can only mean that the Lord of the Universe in Guyu time and space is much weaker in space. But supernatural power can make up for this shortcoming. Plus the integrity of the method, Guyu time and space's tribulation realm powerhouse is generally stronger than Morwa time and space. However, there is one thing that makes Guyu time and space's tribulation realm envy. That is the step realm powerhouse of Morwa time and space, who walks in time and space. The time to cross the robbery will be very long. The catastrophe of the strong in Guyu time and space is coming sooner. A strong person who is the best in time and space has a more precise grasp of time, and can be delayed, has more than 3 times the time of the strong person of the divine power line. This is why the original Morwa space-time was basically the master of the universe. There are very few scattered robberies. This also caused many tribulation realm powerhouses to abandon the scattering tribulation, and even if they fight to the end, they do not want to become scattered tribulation. This is how the gods are. It is also possible that it was because of the encounter with the death that he did not want to become a robbery, and cooperated with the death. Thinking of this, Jian Wushuang's aligning approach was also relieved. Those 7 tribulations realm in Guyu time and space were willing to have enough seats. Compared with Qixin is more structured. Chapter 57:23. Just cooperate with Daisheng. In order to rekindle the road, these scattered robbers are all fighting. There is no right or wrong. Jian Wushuang sighed and continued to practice. Swallowing the heart of time and space, he once again lit up thousands of black holes. 7,000 black holes have been lit up in the original star sky. Then it is slowly digested. Don't be too anxious after all. It is the power that is swallowed. Need to be stable. After 10,000 years, Jian Wushuang stabilized the original starry sky and swallowed it again. It lasted for 100,000 years before he swallowed all the original treasures and firmly linked all the black holes together. The strongest universe in the starry sky is about to be born. Jian Wushuang's original clone, standing above his own universe, was very satisfied. There are a total of 9,000 black holes, and the secret realm of the universe has risen to 9. When there are 6,000 black holes, he has only one cosmic secret realm. Now that 3,000 black holes have been lit up again, 8 cosmic mysteries have been refined. The deeper the background, the faster you can cultivate. Jian Wushuang was very excited. The 9 cosmic secret realms, if they were practitioners of Guyu time and space, would already be comparable to the 9 cosmos. Next, its supernatural power. Jian Wushuang took out Dongzhen's bones. His aura suddenly skyrocketed. Bobby D increased his divine power, and it still maintains it now. He just used this power to speed him up to devour Dongzhen's bones. The divine power of increase, but the divine power of real deal. It's not like the beast warrior, it's just imaginary. Jian Wushuang exerted his strength one by one, directly reaching the divine power of 200,000. The clone is slowly conducting. This is the power of Bobby D. He can't maintain the deity for too long, otherwise he will be discovered. But only a stick of incense time is enough. Now it has a basic divine power of 200,000. So use 4 times the power of the beast god. Jian Wushuang clenched his fists and let out a low growl. Divine power suddenly exploded. Double the power of the beast god. Directly increase 80,000. 2 times is 160,000. 3 times 240,000. 4 times 300,000. Jian Wushuang held his breath. His divine power reached its peak. With the basic divine power, it is already 500,000. If Bobby Emperor's increase is reduced, his basic divine power is still only 100,000. 100,000 basic divine power cannot maintain 4 times the power of the beast god. The divine power of 500,000 times is now comparable to the 5 tribulations realm, although most of it is not his real combat power. But Jian Wushuang was already very excited to be able to burst out. It was a feeling of the combat power of the 5 tribulations realm in advance. If it was only 100,000 times the basic divine power, his peak might be just over 200,000. But if the basic divine power is increased to 200,000 times, it will be able to burst out 500,000 times the divine power. Dongjun bones. Jian Wushuang stretched out his hand and stroked it lightly. A chill came, piercing his mind. The divine body that was tens of thousands of times in the first place could increase its divine power by tens of thousands of times just by absorbing the breath he radiated. A glance will cause serious injuries. Nowadays, 500,000 times the divine power can be touched at close range. Jian Wushuang put one hand on the bone, and the other hand grasped the arm placed on the bone. The swallowing power ran wildly. The 9 universes with infinite power burst out to the extreme. Now what he has absorbed is the divine power on the bones. Powerful. He already had 500,000 times his magical power, but he was still a little struggling. The golden aura exuding from the golden bones continuously gathered into Jian Wushuang's palm, and then spread to the divine body. Jian Wushuang's divine body also began to increase crazily. The basic divine power has risen directly from 100,000 times to 150,000. Too strong. Jian Wushuang was not excited but frowned. No wonder the real spirit will set a ban, so that he will devour it when he robs the realm. The burden of devouring him is too great now. A slight instability can crush his divine body. You must know that his current divine body has increased by 500,000 times. Reached the threshold of the 5 tribulations realm. The weak points of the sabotage have 500,000 supernatural powers, and the strong ones can reach 600,000. The Lord of the Universe will forget it. Even if he is not in his dojo, he may be able to explode more than 700,000 divine powers. If you are in your own dojo, your divine power can break 1 million. This is the horror of the Lord of the Universe. However, after he became the Lord of the Universe, he was even more against the sky than this. There are now 9,000 black holes in his universe. Calculated on the basis of 10,000 seats, his own dojo blessings at that time will probably be 10 times stronger than the Lord of the Universe in Guyu time and space. This 10 times is an increase of 10 times. Converted into combat power, it is 10,000 times. 10,000 times more than the same order. It can be several orders directly. Moreover, he has the bones of Dongjun, and his divine power will not fall. At that time it will be double happiness. Break the law with one force. He doesn't believe that other people can do it. Now he has some confidence in himself. He was really going to succeed. He had too much power at that time. The power of life can certainly be useful for a long time, mainly assisted. I want to talk about swallowing. Now it's only used for cultivation. Everything in the starry sky are his strongest 2 powers. The power of all things brought his origin to the limit. The power of the starry sky represents the strongest starry sky. The power of blue is extremely terrifying. If it is divine power, it can also reach the top. At that time, he will have time and space reincarnation plus infinite divine power. Shuttle through the past and the future, and master the cycle of reincarnation. Divine power breaks all obstacles. Jian Wushuang couldn't help but swallowed. How powerful it would be. What? Holding both fists, suddenly burst into air. The divine power transformed by the golden arrogance began to climb. The basic divine power jumped to 150,000 times. According to his speculation, just swallowing all the aura wrapped in the golden bones can reach 200,000 times the divine power. But now he can't do it yet. Because of the increase given to him by Bobby D, there has been an unsuccessful performance. If you continue to practice like this, Bobby D will definitely doubt it. Time to stop. The remaining breath can only be swallowed a little bit. Call. His divine power instantly dropped from 500,000 times. The power of the beast is not exploding either. Only 150,000 times the basic supernatural power remained. This time it has increased 50,000 times. The slower the increase in the later stage. Just absorbed 10% of the golden arrogance. There is still 90% left without absorption. 10% increased the power of 50,000 times. The remaining 90% can be increased by another 50,000 times. But after reaching 200,000, these arrogance may not be increased by 10,000 times. He is in the Emperor, the limit is in this state. After he can no longer use the power of Bobby D, his basic divine power, plus the increase of the power of the beast, can probably increase to about 380,000 divine power. 100,000 years is enough to swallow all the remaining arrogance. At that time, his basic divine power will be 200,000 times. Belongs to the real limit. Chapter 57:26. This kind of nepotism can be completely trusted by fighting the secret realm together. It is much stronger than an old fox like Wu Li. Every good helper is worthy of their best efforts to win over them. Wu Li also saw that Jian Wushuang's aura was much stronger, but didn't say much. For him, the stronger Jian Wushuang the better. At the same time, he didn't worry that Jian Wushuang would turn back. His chassis is also not simple. Elder Mu Chun is praised, it's just a slight breakthrough. Jian Wushuang shook his head modestly, and the aura on his body began to shrink like a black hole, until the whole figure looked like nothingness, which could only be seen with the naked eye. The power of mind is not perceivable. Of course, this is also the strength of Wu Li and Mu Chun. If he were the lord of the five tribulations realm universe, he would naturally be able to feel Jian Wushuang's existence. Seeing Jian Wushuang's breath disappear, the two were also a little surprised, but their personal strengths were very sensitive, so naturally they wouldn't ask much. Sit down and talk, none of them are outsiders. Wu Li saw Jian Wushuang a little uneasy about standing, so he asked Jian Wushuang to sit down and talk. Mu Chun also nodded and said, "Yeah, we will soon be a family. The palace just prepared for you and Jin Chen has been built. You can move in a few days." Where Jian Wushuang was sitting, he could only nod frequently. "Wushuang nephew, I think you are a little restrained. Isn't it because you haven't married before?" Elder Mu Chun asked curiously. If this kind of thing is in the ordinary, it will definitely not be said. But everyone is a cultivator, and all have become emperors of the tribulation realm. There is nothing bad to say. Who did not marry a few Taoists in the mundane period? But when I think of some family children, they are still teenagers in ordinary times, and they will be able to become Taoists in 10,000 years. Jian Wushuang also had some sympathy for the children of those big families. None of them have experienced the red trials of the mundane world. Hearing Elder Mu Chun's question, he thought of what he used to be, the days of struggling in the mundane world. Juvenile sword pavilion era. He experienced the warmth and coldness of human relations, and he asked the sword wholeheartedly. At that time, he was full of spirits, and he broke things that he couldn't understand with a single sword. How chic. Green Fire Realm, Divine Power Universe. On every journey he is fearless. The original partner, brother and Taoist couple. Now I don't know how. They are far away from to see you. Emperors are hard to find. But now in the long river of time and space, there are two major overlords. Temple of Qi, Temple of Destruction. I don't know if that piece of pure land will be broken. I haven't gone back for some days. But he still remembered, not forgotten. I even often remember the bits and pieces of the time, longing for the beginning. But he had to go forward again. Go out of your own way. Let's go to see the wind and the snow and the moon. Suddenly looking back, Jian Wushuang had already become the strongest emperor, and he was about to win the tribulation realm soon. Looking back at the past, looking at the path I have walked, all the tribulations are nothing more than just adding cold snow. Wife. Thinking of this, a figure appeared in Jian Wushuang's mind. Cold as frost. That was his Jian Wushuang's wife. How could he ever forget? Both Elder Mu Chun and Wu Li could see the reminiscence in Jian Wushuang's eyes. The gossip flames in the two people's hearts rose, and they couldn't help but want to listen. Especially Wu Li. He has not figured out the identity of Jian Wushuang. More like knowing where Jian Wushuang came from? Is it 9 heavens and 10 places, or the other 9 great time and space? He never thought that Jian Wushuang would come from the last travel time and space. No one would believe that such a powerful emperor would appear in the last travel time and space. After Jian Wushuang reminisced, seeing the two staring at him curiously, he quickly explained. Before there were only some beauties, but they haven't been married. That's a shame. Elder Mu Chun patted his thigh, seemingly unbelieving. At this time, Wu Li hurriedly rounded the stage, changed the subject, and talked about some recent events. It was about the sacred meeting. Jian Wushuang also listened carefully. There are no faults. Listening to Wu Li's meaning, this time the sacred meeting will not only select candidates for the saint, but will also attract a group of strong people into the Guma sect. Jian Wushuang didn't understand it when he heard this. Since he wanted to attract the strong to join the Guma sect, why didn't he recruit it directly? Participants in the sacred congregation are some strong family members. What good is it for absorbing these people? Being in Gumu, and in the family, raise a group of vampires. It is better to search for those who have great potential for casual repairs. Only when such people are cultivated will they have a sense of belonging. Elder Mu Chen also understood this meaning, and was also a little confused. Of course, I only heard that some people say that Guyu God Church recruited peripheral members during the holy meeting. Just listen to this kind of thing. Don't take it seriously. Wu Li said, haha. Ancient Moon God sect. That is the only 9-star sect. Even if it is just rumors, it will provoke a lot of people. Guyu's sect, a peripheral member that has been absorbed. The weakest is the Lord of the Universe. The dispersal realm is not qualified at all. Even the dispersal of the 8 tribulations realm would not absorb it. Because within the ancient Moon God sect, the most indispensable is the 8 tribulations realm powerhouse. With the accumulation of countless ages, there are too many 8 tribulations realm experts of the ancient Moon God sect. But the master of the universe in the 8th stage realm is scarce. There is only one. There will be one in almost every era. Otherwise, it would be difficult for the ancient moon gods to convince the crowd. With the superpower of the 8 tribulations realm universe, who doesn't want to enter? Even the peripheral members can walk sideways in 9 days and 10 places. That's why a lot of people are shaking. This time the quota of the congregation was also copied to a very high level. Wu Li said that this incident was because of regret in my heart. The thigh is almost broken. If he shoots now, he can earn several times more. It's cheaper for others. The qualification token he sold was sold to a 4 tribulations realm universe master. The promised request is still counted. It means that Wu Li has an additional ally in the 4 tribulations realm. It's not too bad to come. The 3 chatted for a while, and Wu Li saw that Elder Mu Chen had come here. Yu reading www.akanshu.com. Of course, he didn't come to him. So he took the initiative to retire, leaving Jian Wushuang and Mu Chen to chat alone. Elder Mu Chen confided the truth after Wu Li left. He was hesitant at first, but after seeing Jian Wushuang's aura stronger again, he was relieved. I've been chatting until now, only to tell the truth about my visit this time. After Jian Wushuang listened, his brows opened up. He thought it was a big deal. It turned out that it was Princess Jinshan's eldest brother, his future eldest brother-in-law, who wanted to learn from him. This thing is easy to handle. But the Lord of the Universe? Jian Wushuang asked about the opponent's strength. Elder Mu Chen waved his hand and said, it's not that strong. If it were the Lord of the Universe, I wouldn't come to you anymore. It's not bullying. Chapter 57:27. That's easy. I can accompany you at any time. Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief. If he is the Lord of the Universe, there will be some trouble, and he needs to expose his strength. It is very simple if it is not the Lord of the Universe, and pure divine power can crush the opponent. This time he returned from the ancient Wood sect, and he has become the 3 tribulations realm, and he is very close to mastering the universe. You should be careful, Elder Mu Chen reminded. By the way, there are a few others with him. The Tianjiao of the ancient Wood school. Remember not to offend, otherwise it will be against us during the holy meeting. Jian Wushuang didn't answer, but just nodded slightly. As long as you don't sin against him, everything is easy to say. But that eldest brother-in-law, how could he have to ask him to fight? Could he know Shijiao and miss his brother-in-law? The corners of Jian Wushuang's mouth rose up, making him amused. It's all in the tribulation state, and I don't want to go to the tribulation, but take care of this boring thing. His marriage with Jin Shen is a foregone conclusion. Not a prince can block it. After talking about this matter, Elder Mu Chen said some more about the rules of the wedding in a few days, and then left. Jian Wushuang got up to see him off, but was declined by the other party. As soon as Elder Muchen walked away, Wu Li appeared. It seems that you big brother-in-law, it's not easy to get it done. Wu Li folded his hands on his chest, frowned slightly, and turned his eyes to the distant sky and said, "Come on." Jian Wushuang followed his gaze together. In the sky, 3 figures appeared. 2 masters of the universe in the 3 tribulations realm, and 1 in the 3 tribulations realm, who has not yet mastered the universe. The strength is not even counted. These people can also be regarded as the proud children of the ancient Wood School. His age was only a few hundred epochs older than Jian Wushuang, but his realm had reached the Lord of the Universe. It is indeed the proud son of heaven. The ones who come are not good. The ones who are good don't come. Jian Wushuang smiled on his face. He didn't care. But Wu Li was a little awkward in his heart. Entering his Wu mansion without going through the door, the 3 of them were the first to dare to do so. Fly in directly, without giving him any face. "You are Jian Wushuang." The golden-armored man headed by the 3, with a firm complexion, looked at Jian Wushuang with a lofty posture. Jian Wushuang was very upset with this feeling, and his face sank a little, and he said calmly, "It's your Royal Highness. Since it's here, let's talk about it as follows. I don't think it's necessary. Such a small yard is not enough to stretch your feet." The big prince didn't even look at Wu Li. This made Wu Li, who valued face very much, a little angry, and wanted to take action to teach the 3 of them. Really want to shoot. These 3 people together are not his opponents. Especially the great prince, who had just successfully crossed the tribulation, and had not yet mastered the universe. He dared to be so arrogant. If you become the master of the universe, don't you have to open your eyes to the top of your head? His Royal Highness, if you think the yard is small, I can expand it specifically for you. Wu Li continued, waving a single hand, bursting out a powerful divine power, and directly flattening half of Wu's mansion. This powerful force broke out, but it was extremely restrained. As a result, most of the Wu mansion was destroyed, and the outside world did not feel the fluctuation of divine power. This scene caused all 3 of them to shrink their eyes. Wu Li raised his other hand and swept across the other intact mansion. "Enough now." Wu Li gritted his teeth. Jian Wushuang was astounded. The whole Wu mansion was flat. Where do they live at night? A few days later, it was his wedding day, but Wu mansion was razed to the ground at this time. Wouldn't it be even more embarrassing to spread this out? The prince frowned. He didn't expect Wu Li to be so hard-hearted. And the strength is so strong, beyond his expectations. It seems that he even has the idea of shooting him. So it's better not to anger him. The 2 Gumu sect masters of the universe next to them were a little curious about Wu Li's strength, and asked, "Junior brother Lu Chen, is this person Wu Li, a well-known strongman among the masters of the universe, who has crossed the 3 tribulations realm?" "Yes, he is Wu Li, and the ancestor of the Wu family, one of the top 10 families in the Yu country. His strength is half a step and 4 calamities." The eldest prince Lu Chen responded indifferently. When Wu Li saw them talking about their title, a smile leaked from the corner of his mouth. Even if it is to provoke him, it is enough to recognize his strength. He hummed coldly in his heart. After opening Wanlu Mingjin ancient Wood continent, let alone a little Yu kingdom prince, the female emperor of Yu kingdom had to be polite. Everything still speaks for strength. Ha! The 3 slowly landed. Both sides watched. "Senior Wu Li, you are so kind." Lu Chen glanced around. This time it was really spacious. Jian Wushuang was worried about where they would live at night. It's not good to be too angry. Wu Li sneered after hearing what the eldest prince said. Of course he has to be polite when he comes to the humble house. Otherwise it will be said, "If that's the case, then I'm not welcome." Lu Chen's expression sank, before turning to look at Jian Wushuang. He didn't recognize this brother-in-law. Not because Jin Chen didn't like it, but Jian Wushuang's background is too weak. The Guma school is a place where he speaks about his birthplace, and his cultivation over the years has made him understand that birthplace is very important. As for the fear of drawing wolves into the clan, he disdains. Stone country is so powerful. How could it be greedy for a small Yu country? If Lu Chen's thoughts were known to the ancestors of the clan, he would definitely be so angry that he would crawl out of the sarcophagus. Regardless of any forces, they are all from the weak. Why do you want to belittle yourself? Guo is indeed from a good background, but it doesn't matter where he is. It is also a normal precaution to be greedy for the country. How powerful is Guo's ambition? Outsiders only see its dominance and strength. But he didn't see Guo's greed for neighboring countries. Wild ambition. Undoubtedly revealed. Had it not been for the Gumu faction, the 16 kingdoms would have long since become the family of Guo. The founding ancestor of Shi Kingdom was a realm of 8 tribulations. The flame who guards the Stone Kingdom is a super strong, who is not weak, as the master of the universe of 8 tribulations. Although Gumu's sect has several ancestors in the 8 tribulations realm, it is not enough for the flame god to fight it alone. That's why Guo dared to take advantage of this arrogance. Yu reading www.Akanshu. Calm coupled with the demise of the Eternal Kingdom now, the Stone Kingdom has fewer obstacles. Among the 16 countries, ranked first is the country of Shi, who does my part. The second is the daughter country. The third Eternal Kingdom is gone. The rest of the kingdom is much weaker. And it's not at the same level at all. Not only does it have no 8 tribulations realm, but even the 7th stage realm has only 1 or 2. If the Stone Country invades, it will be a complete sweep. In a country like the Yu country, if it recruits the son-in-law, the Stone clan. I'm afraid I don't know how to die. The best thing is not to get involved with Guo, and to get support from the Gumu sect at that time. Or sit in a boat, and only serve as cannon fodder for Guo. This is what the ancestors of the Yu Kingdom did not want to see. Chapter 57-28. The size of the pattern is far beyond what the eldest prince Lu Chen can imagine. It can only be said that the smell of milk is not dry, and the thinking is too simple. If you want a strong background, just be a dog for Bobby D. No, Bobby D doesn't like such a weak dog. The 3 tribulations realm really couldn't enter the eyes of Emperor Bobby. Jian Wushuang had an idea. He suddenly thought that he was also a member of Emperor Bobby, and his background was not weak in Guo. Today, the power that Emperor Bobby has mastered, not to mention sweeping the Stone Country, there is no problem in defeating it. No matter how strong the flame is, it can still pass Qi Jiuxiao. Half a step in the 9 tribulations realm, even in the Flame God's dojo, can blow up the opponent. His Royal Highness, if you are not satisfied with you, you can do it at will. Jian Wushuang's aura remained unchanged. But as long as the opponent makes a move, he will definitely defeat Lu Chen as quickly as possible. Lu Chen didn't expect Jian Wushuang to be so tough. It's not that a family doesn't enter a family. Well, if you have this sentence, you still haven't lost your ambition, but you are only an emperor. If I use my full strength, I will provoke outsiders to laugh. So let's suppress half of your divine power and fight with you. If you can to resist a stick of incense, I can't ask any more about you and Jin Chun. Lu Chen stretched out his hand, his strength dropped rapidly. 200,000 supernatural powers. Jian Wushuang narrowed the corners of his eyes. Is this half of the special? The Lord of the Universe in the 3 tribulations realm only has a divine power of more than 200,000. In the 3 tribulations realm, he is probably at most 250,000 times divine power, and only suppress 50,000, which can also be called half. A stick of incense. This one is simple. I'm just worried that I'm too heavy, and the other party won't be able to hold a stick of incense. Wu Li's face was gloomy, and he looked at Jian Wushuang and said, I have set up a barrier here. You can shoot at will, and give me a severe lesson. He has absolute confidence in Jian Wushuang, and he exploded a 3 tribulations realm, and it was too simple for Jian Wushuang. When Shi Jiu was defeated last time, Jian Wushuang's explosive power was already comparable to the Lord of the 3 tribulations realm universe. Now dealing with the 3 tribulations realm without mastery of the universe is the same as playing. Indeed, after Jian Wushuang heard Wu Li's words, his eyes widened and shot instantly. The breath on the body has not changed. The eldest prince Lu Chun was a little surprised. He thought Jian Wushuang would first use all his strength, and then make a move. He didn't expect to be so arrogant that he would dare to make a move without breaking out of his supernatural power. Can't you see that there is a 200,000 times divine power erupting in him? But when Jian Wushuang rushed in, the rain of fists from the sky fell, and the eldest prince Lu Chun felt his arms numb, and his body trembled when he responded. "You hide your breath so mean," Jian Wushuang said calmly. "His Royal Highness Lu Chun can suppress strength. I can hide my breath for a while, it's not too much." Feeling full of nothingness, he was like a ghost. The other two Gumu sect masters of the universe looked a little staggering. His power is so strange that he has not missed anything, and his divine power can grasp this level. It looks like, just like what junior brother Lu Chun said, he has 200,000 times the divine power under his full strength. You see that his offense has reached the limit. Although he can hide his breath when he fights against the tribulation realm, this ability is considered chicken ribs. Although the two were a little surprised, they soon felt that they knew Jian Wushuang through. On the contrary, it was impossible for the eldest prince Lu Chun to defeat Jian Wushuang with 200,000 times his supernatural power. The experience of mastering supernatural power is not as good as Jian Wushuang. Under the same supernatural power, Jian Wushuang could not be defeated naturally. The blood at the corner of Lu Chun's mouth could tell that the fight just now did not hurt less. At this time, the divine power on his body continued to leak, which had exceeded 200,000 times. Jian Wushuang assumed that he hadn't seen it. Wu Li, who was watching the play, did not speak. He was willing to fight, waiting for Jian Wushuang to break out and defeat the opponent. Otherwise, reminding him now would make Lu Chun leave easily. The two masters of the universe of the Guma school frowned. A respectable person, if he fights against the emperor, he still has to shame and lose Fengpa. It's just a family matter, and they don't have much to say. Even if it wasn't, they couldn't say it. Isn't it even more embarrassing to say it? Right way. This is what is wrong. So Jian Wushuang didn't believe in Jingma. Just follow your own way. What if it is the way of heaven? In his own dojo, he is the way of heaven. One move made him despair. Lu Chun attacked again, losing his weight with a punch, but he didn't even hit Jian Wushuang. Turning to find Jian Wushuang's position at this time, but found that Jian Wushuang was already standing in the air. This time, Jian Wushuang was aloof. His Royal Highness can give it a try, don't be restrained. Jian Wu's double-face color remained unchanged, standing in the air like a god. Lu Chun clenched his fists. His divine power exploded again. This time, he exerted 90% of his supernatural power. If it breaks out again, it will be a deadly battle. The supernatural power of 250,000 all scattered. Wu Li frowned and sighed inwardly. No wonder the empress would pass her throne to her Princess Jinchen, not the eldest prince. The character is too bad. Entering the Guma school is also because of the background, otherwise it will not be the climate. Junior brother Lu Chun, it's a bit past. Gumu Sect's master of the universe shook his head. It's really too much. Although Jian Wushuang has a good grasp of divine power, it is easy to defeat it. There is no need to use so much divine power. The two of them didn't fight Jian Wushuang, and they didn't know why. Only Lu Chun was sweating behind him. Even if he had used 90% of his supernatural power now, he still felt a sense of oppression when facing Jian Wushuang. It's not from divine power, but can't see through the details of the other party. And every time he strengthened his divine power, he still didn't get any head start when fighting Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang played against him, just like playing. The big prince, after the strength unfolded, once again shot. This time, directly used the pinnacle secret method, and come up with the strongest trick on the bright side. Wuxia. The prince put his hands together like a bright moon. The electric arc on his body crackled, and the eruption of strength was terrifying. It definitely surpassed 250,000 times of supernatural power. This surprised the few people who watched the game. The battle continues to escalate, but they think Jian Wushuang is very ordinary. He didn't understand why Lu Chun was so anxious. Jian Wushuang stood in the air, staring at the rushing prince without avoiding it. When the opponent was only an inch away from him, he suddenly roared. The quartet world dimmed instantly. A huge black hole appeared behind him. That is the power of 9,000 black holes, completely introverted and swallowed. Aha! The space began to shatter under his roar. Wu Li's eyes shrank, and his hands quickly pinched the tactics to stabilize the surrounding barriers. Fortunately, there is still formation blessing on Wu's house. Chapter 57-29. Otherwise, under Jian Wushuang's roar, I am afraid that half of the king will be destroyed. The legs were slightly bent. Jian Wushuang, with his fists clenched, stared at the eldest prince Lu Chun, and then roared. Even directly broke the opponent's pinnacle secret method. Mochizuki shattered. Lu Chun received a lot of backlash. His breath dropped by a large amount, and he forcibly endured the dullness in his chest. Otherwise he would vomit it on Jian Wushuang's face. After defeating Lu Chun, the aura on Jian Wushuang's body was calm again. The two masters of the universe of the Guma school saw that at this time. Their expressions were not only shocked, but also doubtful. Just now from Jian Wushuang, they felt an extremely powerful atmosphere of the universe. That is the power beyond them. The universe of the two of them has gradually grown from 1,000 black holes. And now they have cultivated for such a long time. But it has only reached 1,000 or 200. In the universe, there is not even a secret realm. When I felt Jian Wushuang's strong black hole power, he must be surprised and puzzled. That power, in their view, has not completely evolved into the universe. It's a black hole. This means that Jian Wushuang is definitely an emperor. An emperor's eruption in an instant surpassed them countless times. Just a moment's time, it completely suffocated them. Isn't he only 200,000 supernatural powers? The news is wrong. Lu Chun barely suspended the void, his face pale. Can't even speak, because a mouth will definitely vomit blood. Even Jian Wushuang himself was a little surprised at the outbreak just now. Unexpectedly, I can't lift the energy. Jian Wushuang moved his neck. Maybe it was because his origin had improved too quickly. He hadn't been tempered by a great battle. So he broke out suddenly and didn't reach the peak. Originally, he planned to use the power of the beast to solve the battle, but he saw Lu Chun getting more and more unpleasant. Let the other party despair once. Break the enemy with one move. And they didn't do it. Directly severely injured the eldest prince Lu Chun. Jian Wushuang was not afraid that he would say it. People like Lu Chun love face the most. If you tell others that he was caught by an emperor, he would be seriously injured by a roar. Regardless of whether others believe it or not, he has no face to say anyway. His Royal Highness, I think that's it. Jian Wushuang slowly fell to the ground. White clothes on the body are not stained with dust. It was Lu Chun's ashamed face. Cough. Lu Chun wanted to open, but as soon as he was about to open, he coughed up a trace of blood. At this time, Wu Li hurriedly came out to make a round and said, "They are all about to become a family. I think this kind of meaningless discussion is almost the same. Today, the humble house cannot entertain the eldest prince and the people of Guizhong. Another day I will be in a fair, and I will recount the old times with His Royal Highness." Humph! Lu Chun didn't dare to open his mouth, so he could only snort it coldly. Flicking his sleeves, he immediately rose into the air. When he passed by his companion, he left without saying a word. The two Gumu sect masters of the universe received the sound transmission from the bottom of their hearts and hurriedly followed. Ha! Jian Wushuang sighed. Looking at Wu Li, he said, "What should I do next?" He glanced around. Within 100 miles, even a tree was gone. It will soon be married to Princess Jinshin. Wouldn't it be too embarrassing to be seen by others? And the home was razed to the ground. Those who didn't know thought that they too had no abilities. They were beaten into the house. And even the house was knocked off. Small problem. Wu Li smiled and shook his head, then snapped his fingers. After a crisp sound, the space changed. Suddenly a magnificent mansion descended on the surrounding open space. There is no difference from the previous layout. Only some details have been changed. Jian Wushuang looked around a little surprised. This is actually an energy body? Yes, it's not a pity to ruin it. As long as there is a universe crystal, you can have as much as you want. The entire king capital is actually in this layout. Wu Li explained. Jian Wushuang knew everything in his heart, and then asked, "But I didn't feel it for the first time." Haha, this kind of energy body comes from the formation. That is the formation created by the great power of the 8 tribulations realm. If you can see it, it will be weird. Wu Li snickered and laughed. But my heart sank. This kind of layout is very common throughout Gyua time and space. How could Jian Wushuang not know? And as for the formation of the energy body, it seems that he doesn't know at all. Randomly picked a wild flower. Jian Wushuang held it in his hand and played with it. But he didn't know that his identity was once again suspected by Wu Li. After Lu Chen's trouble, Wu Mansion also began to lively. Many servants began to prepare for their wedding in 3 days. However, Jian Wushuang was happy and leisurely, walking around Wu Mansion at will. And from time to time he would only lay down people personally how to make arrangements. He looked like he was going to get married. He was married for the first time. It's also considered a cumbersome. I have always heard how unbearable the son-in-law is. Now he feels pretty good. Just practice, others will give back the resources. If this kind of good thing had been encountered by him a few years earlier, there would be no headaches in the back. He had eaten and waited to die a long time ago. However, if this were the case, he would probably not be trained by teacher Xian Yi. The original teacher Xian Yi. I'm afraid that there are no less training practitioners. He is only one of them. But he is the only super talent in the original universe to stand out. Have been walking until today. Never let the other party down. 3 days pass very slowly. For Jian Wushuang now, it was the 3 most fulfilling days he had had. In these 3 days, he has never felt relaxed. It's like giving yourself a break. Leave everything behind. Leisurely life. Follow the elder Mu Chen to visit the royal capital and drink fine wine. Fishing for arowanas on Shenlong Lake. Baishuai's fights against wild beasts. It's so fun. Unfortunately, there are only 3 days. After the wedding, he will go to Shirgua for the Excalibur embryo. After the embryo is completed, it is almost time for the holy meeting. The time of the congregation varies from person to person. Maybe soon tens of thousands of years will be over. But this time, I am afraid it will shake several epochs. Because Jian Wushuang and Wu Li's plan was to open Wanlu. By then, the 2 of them will become the target of public criticism. Everyone will stare at both of them. I want to get the treasures from the 10,000 willow sacred tree from them, including Guma school. The vitality of the Shenmu king was revived, and he needed to obtain vitality suitable for the 8 tribulations realm from the Wanlu Shenmu. This kind of vitality could not be created by Jian Wushuang. Even if the current origin is very strong, the vitality of creation can revive the body of the god. But to revive the divine body, that would be too difficult. It is also difficult for him to become a robbery. Otherwise he can sell his life and make a fortune. With his strong vitality, I am afraid that it will not take a long time to buy the entire Guyu time space. He can think about this kind of thing. Chapter 57:30. Even if he becomes the tribulation realm, when in a certain realm, he can breathe life into those scattered tribulations. Once exposed, countless tribulation realms will be swarmed. There is still trading. It is estimated that all the 8 tribulations realm powerhouses would rob him at that time. Unless there is enough strength, there will be orderly trading. But if he really wants to have that strength, why should he sell his life force? It's not better to grab those families directly. Jian Wushuang shook his head. The big wedding tomorrow. Taking advantage of the bright moon tonight, he began to paint. Draw a scene of ancient moon time and space. He draws slowly and seriously. When he returned to the temple of Qishan that day, he would also give some friends to tell about his experience in Guyu time and space. This painting is a testimony. Finished. It's dawn. In the early morning of the royal capital, the sun was dazzling. In the palace above the clouds, colorful auspicious clouds fell, and a pair of luxurious welcoming teams descended on Wangdu Avenue under the colorful auspicious clouds, floating all the way to the outside of Wufu Gate. On both sides of the street, whether it is ordinary or immortal emperor, they are all looking forward to the color. When we are greeted, a loud voice sounded, and Princess Jin Chun, wearing a red robe, stepped on colorful clouds and entered Wu Mansion. It's just that her complexion is a bit embarrassing. Originally wanted to let his elder brother teach Jian Wushuang a lesson, but after his elder brother came back, he ignored her. Ask and say nothing. Ugh. Crossed the threshold. After entering Jian Wushuang's room, her expression only eased slightly. That's the end of the matter, she has no other way. Hard ones are no good, only soft ones. You're here. Jian Wushuang was sitting in front of the bed. He was also in a red robe. From a distance, the two can be regarded as talented women. It's just that Jian Wushuang's white hair is a bit distracting. Jin Chun replied softly. Jian Wushuang was a little surprised when he saw that the other party was talking to him so peacefully. I don't know what trick this princess is playing. He has to be careful. The two looked at each other and didn't know what to say for a while. It was the first time for the eldest girl to marry. Jian Wushuang married for the first time. Jin Chun got married for the first time. After a while, Jin Chun took the initiative to speak. I heard that you have been in Outland. Are you still used to returning to your country? Fortunately, I am used to being free. As long as no one threatens me, I can get used to it everywhere. After Jian Wushuang finished, he didn't forget to add, if your Royal Highness is not used to it in the future, you can tell me at any time. Jin Chun sneered, but when he thought of asking Jian Wushuang after the big wedding, he replied softly, definitely. The two passed the time with each other. In the welcoming party outside, Mu Chun and Wu Li chatted happily. After checking the time, he was about to go to the palace with Jian Wushuang. It's good time, get up. After Jian Wushuang heard this, they walked out of the house together. There was already a circle of people outside. Each of them is a powerful person in the Yu country. Either it is Tianjiao among the emperors. Congratulations keep coming. Jian Wushuang clasped his fists in return. When he left Wu Mansion, Wu Li stood in front of the door, tears crisscrossing, and holding Mu Chen's hand complaining. I'm just such a nephew, brother Mu Chen you can. Don't worry, you are all your own. And you will definitely not let Wushuang Wai's nephew be wronged. Jian Wushuang was embarrassed listening to him. That is, he had a thick-skinned face. Otherwise, you must find a seam to drill in. My son-in-law, it really wasn't so good. At least be thick-skinned. Jin Chun stepped on the colorful auspicious clouds and brought Jian Wushuang into Longhu. Following everyone's gaze, the welcoming team flew to the palace. It was the first time that Jian Wushuang took a seat in Longhu, and he also enjoyed the luxury of the emperor. But when he looked at Longhu, he felt a strong breath, directly surpassing the welcoming team. Several terrifying auras are all around the Six Tribulations realm. The Comer is not good. Jian Wushuang looked out through the curtains. The welcoming party was blocked by a group of people. 3 people stand upright. A woman in a red robe stood in the first place, with a red mark on the center of her eyebrows. That represents the flame god. Not only the people of Shurgwa knew it, but the strong people of the entire Gumo continent knew it. 9 heavens and 10 earths are very loud. After all, it was a totem mark left by a special life in the 8 Tribulations realm. Except for the Lord of the Universe in the 8 Tribulations realm, the Flame God is invincible. The Lord of the Universe will become the Dispersal Tribulation because of the failure to cross the tribulation. But the Flame Gods are born without disaster. No one dared to offend this super existence. Even the Master of the Universe in the 8 Tribulations realm did not want to offend. Once offended, you must get rid of it. Otherwise, when you fail to cross the robbery that day and get hit by someone, you will have no chance. God Hui. Jian Wushuang frowned. He hadn't heard of the relationship between the Yu royal family and the Flame Gods. And the other party is not good. It looks like it's not here to congratulate. On the contrary, it seems to be a smashing place. Isn't you going to grab a kiss? Jian Wushuang frowned. He was robbed, and he also robbed others. It can be said that he has experienced a lot. But this kind of thing can't let him come across every time. Jian Wushuang looked at the Princess Jin Chun, thinking that this time it was because of the other party. The flame is the patron saint of the Stone Kingdom. Jin Chun has a relationship with Shi Guogua. It must be the cause of the other party. Jian Wushuang recognized it in his heart. Princess Jin Chun's eyes flickered, but she hoped that Shi Jiu would bring someone to grab her. But there is no such possibility. The ancestor of the royal family has already greeted the Shi family. The matter of Shi Jiu has been settled privately. As for the Hui, she also knows a lot. Right now I don't know him. And looking at the breath is also an emperor. The two black robe elders behind him were all 6 Calamity Realm powerhouses. Divine power leaked. Full of pressure. Among the welcoming team, the strongest is nothing but Elder Mu Chun in the half-step 4 Tribulations realm. At this moment, he felt those 2 breaths of 6 Tribulations realm, and his expression sank. When he saw that woman, he turned his head and glanced at Jian Wushuang and Long Huzhong. A woman of the Hui stood in front of her. It looks like it's not because of Jin Chun, but Jian Wushuang. This time it really made him guess right. Without waiting for him to come forward and interrogate, the woman in red at the head said, Jian Wushuang, you are so laid back. After hearing these words, there was a flame in the eyes of Elder Mu Chun. He was worried that the Shi family would make trouble. After being dealt with by the ancestors, I thought that there was no worries about the future. As a result, Jian Wushuang's trouble came up again. Princess Jinshin in Long Huo was a little excited in her heart. If it was Jian Wushuang, wouldn't it be that she didn't need to marry Jian Wushuang? After Jian Wushuang heard these words, he panicked a little. Stand up directly. He opened the curtain and walked out of Longhu. He was dressed in a red robe with white hair. When seeing this face, the corner of the Hoi's mouth rose, and she guessed it was indeed Jian Wushuang. Chapter 5732. This is also normal. Jian Wushuang is himself a god-defying emperor. He is the emperor of the same level. Many people are discussing below. Jian Wushuang turned a deaf ear. What are you going to do? Don't take it too seriously. Just want to see how much you have improved these days. It seems to be a bit stronger than before. But this strength is not enough. The supernatural power of 260,000 yuan was said to be worthless by Fan Tianfeng. Jian Wushuang's eyes trembled, secretly cursing in my heart. She is afraid that she has forgotten the fear of being dominated by extinction. At the beginning, Mi Bing possessed Dongjun's bones, exploded with 250,000 times of divine power, and was able to suppress her at will. How long has it been since now? Can I feel so arrogant if I have added some divine power? Good, Jian Wushuang agreed. Since we have to learn from each other, then let the other party know what it means there is a sky outside the sky, and there are people outside the person. And also, the origin of time and space is the strongest. Jian Wushuang put away the aura of supernatural power on his body. He wants to use the origin of his hometown to defeat Fan Tianfeng. Let her understand, don't forget your roots. Fan Tianfeng frowned as he watched Jian Wushuang put away his supernatural aura and said, Why, you're scared? Jian Wushuang couldn't help but smile and said, If I'm afraid, I won't leave there for the rest of my life. Blue. Boom. The popping of space is deafening. Today is the day of the wedding, and it cannot be delayed. Since he chose to use the source to deal with Fan Tianfeng, he would not keep his hands. Eternal change. Surrounded by a blue arc, the aura on Jian Wushuang's body turned blue. Hair, clothes, and eyebrows are all blue. It also represents the power of the starry sky. This turmoil. People in the palace couldn't help but walk out. The female emperor led the officials, looking at Jian Wushuang and Fan Tianfeng. The junior's hands, she couldn't intervene. If those 2 6 Tribulations realm dared to do it, she has to end. Although those two are both in the 6 Tribulations realm, not the master of the universe. She is the master of the half-step 6 Tribulations realm universe. And the palace is her dojo. You have to die as many as you come, unless it is the 7 Tribulations realm. Otherwise she is invincible. Naturally, don't panic. When she felt the breath of Jian Wushuang's body, there was a color in her cold eyes. This breath also appeared when dealing with Shurjiao. Only this time, it is much stronger than before. He has a secret. The Empress sighed in her heart. She thought Jian Wushuang was a caged bird of the royal family, but now she understands. Yu country is a small place, and Jian Wushuang can't be trapped. Entrance is just a cover, she understands this. But at first, I just felt that Jian Wushuang was an emperor and couldn't overcome any big storms. It's just that she is shaken now, knowing that Jian Wushuang will definitely rise up in the future. A character who can't be restrained for 9 days and 10 places. Recruiting Jian Wushuang might be a wrong choice. If she knew that Jian Wushuang had harmed many people, she would have regretted her intestines. Fan Tianfeng felt Jian Wushuang's changes, and was not surprised. She knows Jian Wushuang's whole cards. Draw your sword. You do not deserve. Jian Wushuang shot instantly, his figure resembling the thunder in the space. So quickly people can't see the shadow. Even the Lord of the Universe can't see clearly. Elder Muchen couldn't believe Jian Wushuang's speed even more. Rubbing his eyes, when he looked at Jian Wushuang again, he could only see some afterimages. The reason why Fan Tianfeng has confidence is that his strength is naturally not weak. The supernatural power of 280,000 soared to 300,000. Fighting against Jian Wushuang several times, he didn't even fall behind. The eldest prince who followed the empress side opened his mouth slightly. 3 days ago, he thought Jian Wushuang had exerted his full strength. The result is that he was playing tricks at the beginning. As long as Jian Wushuang is in this state, he only needs a look in his eyes to defeat him. Boom! Jian Wushuang had the upper hand, and the sharp fist smashed the space. If not for the formation of the royal capital, and the maintenance of the female emperor, this place has long since become like an eternal kingdom. Although he could not destroy the entire eternal kingdom, but ruining a royal capital is really not a problem. The combat power he exploded has reached the 4 tribulations realm. And it's the fighting power of the Lord of the Universe. The Lord of the Universe in the 4 tribulations realm is only his strength. The Princess Jean Chun on Long Hug looked at the bursts of blue arrogance in the sky with her head hooked, knowing that it was produced every time Jian Wushuang played against each other. But just can't see how Jian Wushuang looked when he shot. Fear. He is so strong. Jean Chun was speechless. When Jian Wushuang defeated Shurjiao, she only felt that Shurjiao was out of luck. After reaching the robbery realm, he could still catch up with Jian Wushuang. But now that he has witnessed Jian Wushuang's real combat power, even if Shurjiao became the Lord of the Universe, he was not Jian Wushuang's opponent. She had to admit this. Wu Li and others in the royal capital also looked up. He was even more shocked. Jian Wushuang's strength has surpassed him. Some can't hold it anymore. Fortunately, he also has a whole card. Otherwise, he would have to consider running away. If you continue to cooperate with Jian Wushuang, he will kill the donkey that day, and he has no choice. The entire royal capital, and even the entire high level of the country of Vietnam, are paying attention to this battle. Some people think that the royal family has picked up the treasure, actually discovered Jian Wushuang, such a peerless arrogant. Some people think long-term. I think the royal family might be afraid of Jian Wushuang. The strength that Jian Wushuang erupted was really too shocking. Jian Wushuang in the blue arrogance just used his aura to stun Fan Tianfeng back. Fan Tianfeng, who was also in the flames, had a somewhat unstable breath. Just a series of fights, let her see the gap. Jian Wushuang was so strong that it was indeed beyond her imagination. Impossible, how can your strength be so strong? Fan Tianfeng forcibly burned his divine power and rushed again. She didn't believe that Jian Wushuang could maintain this state for a long time. Definitely burn the source and fight her desperately. Jian Wushuang stood in the void deep, his eyes cold. A beam of light burst into the finger. The blue air column burst out and instantly arrived in front of Fan Tianfeng. Without waiting for her to think about it, Jian Wushuang's figure rushed along the air column he just hit. His speed is faster than his own breath. Fan Tianfeng has nowhere to hide. Dodge the attack, can't avoid Jian Wushuang. His Royal Highness, don't panic. The two Six Tribulation Realm powerhouses, who were also watching the battle shot at this time. They shocked Jian Wushuang's terrifying combat power. But I will never forget my mission. Protect Fan Tianfeng. This is Ho Yi, the most proud of flame divine power. If they fall, neither of them will survive. Although Jian Wushuang was strong, he had no way to deal with the Six Tribulations realm. Can only stop the figure. At this moment the Empress also personally ended. 3,000 red sleeves flew out of the palace. Cover the sky and the sun. The breath of horror suddenly fell. The two Six Tribulations realm experts simultaneously protected Fan Tianfeng and turned to look outside the palace gate. Where the Empress is standing, the Faxiang rises to the sky. Shenghui Nebula. The female emperor snorted coldly. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.